Okay, and those final moments from B-Boy, that gene pull as well before the boxes did go down, could have played a pivotal moment there had it not gone into overtime, but the pass was there, and I like as well that Slippy was low. He didn't take any risks by trying to shoot. It was probably a bad position to do so, and being patient there was key. And as we see there, look at the difference actually in terms of kills, definitely far more in favor in B-Boy, and we do tend to see in Brawl that more kills and less deaths do tend to lead towards goals, and in this instance, it absolutely did.
Yeah, sure did, Ark. Never needing to score more than one goal in any particular game, usually waiting for overtime to make that crucial push happen. We saw B-Boy playing it very cautiously, safely, bouncing off of that win against Jupiter to play a very similar setup in that Brawl Ball game mode. But we're going to be moving into Minecart Madness next. It's another gym grab map. This is actually the only set that B-Boy lost in their previous matchup against Jupiter. I think that you're going to have to really throw your expectations out, though, because this Minecart Madness map is very different from other gym grab game modes, especially when you factor in that cart that rolls all around, dealing tons of damage to any brawler who gets caught in the way. What are you looking forward to most in this next set, Ark?
It's definitely going to be a long-ranged affair. I feel that if you haven't played the game for this update, there's been some big changes in Minecart Madness, and now with the sidewalls being removed and having the rope fence, which is a mechanic where you can shoot through but not move through, it has opened up a lot of different brawlers into the mix here. We're seeing much less of Rosa and the Slambulance and far more of a ranged affair, and Slippy gonna go with the Mortis pick here. I think that's kind of interesting. I think we've yet to see Mortis being played so far really on Minecart Madness, and actually running as well that new gadget as well, Survival Shovel, making an appearance here for B-Boy, and off to a pretty good start already. That Mortis pick putting a lot of pressure on SK Miracle early on.
Yeah, we're finally seeing Sprout being deployed here as well, defensively for B-Boy up, or for SK Miracle, but playing very aggressively, kind of ironically here. That super can come in very handy, especially with so many little narrow choke points on this map. Why is Moding playing so aggressively as Sprout there? Am I missing something here?
It does seem to be a bit of an odd start for SK Miracle, I've got to say there, Woody. Yeah, and Slippy actually came out of that spawn with 4 gems from a very vicious assault there. So it's actually almost a countdown, and Slippy, if he can get a kill here on Little Giant here, could start that countdown in motion. It's actually going to be SK Miracle that escaped with gems from the spawn. It's a very, very weird game, I've got to say, Woody, of both of these two teams going in super aggressively here. We're seeing gems dropping left, right, and center, and it's back to a draw. I don't know what's going on.
Chaos is a ladder, Ark. An opportunity here now for Slippy to turn this thing around. Gets the kill on Wookiog, and he'll take those gems, and he's going right through the middle. No chance for SK Miracle to come back now. Great job there from B-Boy, and particularly to Slippy. Far and away the MVP from this game, making a really unorthodox move, but getting so much value out of it. I am shocked and so impressed by that Mortis maneuver.
It was absolute chaos. I did feel like at the end, Little Giant may have been able to use that tripwire gadget and maybe place those mines specifically on the gem carrier. He kind of did it a bit prematurely and didn't prioritize the main gem carrier holder. But what a strange and bizarre but interesting game there. Very just uber aggressive for both teams there, and very much apart from the kind of normal kind of controlled manner that we tend to see gem grab play out. But I mean, it kind of worked in a way.
Oh, I mean, it definitely worked out for B-Boy. I think that when there's highly regimented and controlled ABC by the book Brawl Stars, you tend to see the team that's better prepared taking the win out. But when you've got so much chaos going on, it's not the team that determines who wins. It's the one player who can play their brawler perfectly, sneaking behind enemy lines, in that case as Mortis, and just completely upsetting the entire setup there from SK Miracle. It was like a 2-on-1 right there in the middle at the last few seconds, but B-Boy were able to get the win because of the bravery, the incredible audacity of Slippy charging straight in, and Yeah, delivering the final blow there for B-Boy. But let's get into game number 2 now, Ark.
Yeah, it was a great pick. And Mortis is a bit like a shock pick. You don't really expect it coming. And again, like I said at the beginning, I was really expecting to see a long-ranged affair. And this game looks to be more in keeping with that, with double max. And I think actually I do prefer the bow over the pan pick here, actually, because obviously you can place those mines over the healing station, and that's going to deter a lot of B-Boy looking to use that healing station to heal, because as we've already seen, the tripwire is such a strong gadget to use here. It's definitely going to deter in that respect, but it is going to be a great pull off the bat from Slippy and a good mid control from B-Boy early on.
Nice job here to Achapi, speeding up and zipping around on the backside. Huge gym advantage and no chance yet for SK Miracle to even push back past that first line of train tracks. Here we go, though. It's the supers being dropped, speed boosts all around, and a chance to finally make their way in. But getting trapped with that minecart out behind them, B-Boy have a chance to really deliver the final blow here. Are they going to pressure in? Yes, they will, getting the kill there. Sight takes out Moding and gives Achapi another gem. 2 more will get the countdown started. A pull against Little Giant's going to be good enough to get the job done. That's all 10 for B-Boy.
Slippy is playing for me fantastically well today. That previously with Mortis and now with Sheen, consistent pulls, and that is what gave B-Boy the countdown here. Can Lil Giant use his mines? He didn't really, again, focus those mines on the gem carrier. It was evaded, and therefore it is going to be B-Boy, which will take gem grab now as well in a great spot, Woody, today.
Yeah, not just the MVP of this set, but like the MVP of the team that seems on their way to win this region overall. Slippy has got to be the name on everyone's minds right now. The talk of the town. This guy can play lots of different brawlers to maximum effect, and is often the primary reason why B-Boy has been able to pick up really difficult wins against squads who, since they're on this main stage, are the best in the region and arguably the best in the world in the case of Jupiter. B-Boy have really done a smashing job so far here today. Gotta say hats off to them, and only one more set separates them from total victory in this region.
Yeah, absolutely, Woody. Couldn't have put it better myself. And here we go back in then to set 3, Heist up next, Hot Potato. And going to be definitely a very, very different variety of brawlers here. Be interesting to see what Slippy does bring out the pack this time round. I do like to see a Rico mid here. I like to see some throwers. We haven't really seen many throwers other than Sprout and that brief appearance of Tick earlier in Layer Cake today. So we could see some Barley potentially here as well. And you know, it would be nice to see a bit of variation now. We've seen a lot of similar brawlers being played, whereas this particular map of Heist does bring out a bit more in that respect.
Yeah, you don't see quite as many hardcore stab dives straight into the enemy safe. You often see a lot of that tit-for-tat play in the midfield, trying to jockey for positioning here and going for control rather than hardcore aggression. It's going to be Achapi into the middle, taking a few pop shots off at Woohyuk, but he takes a hit himself. And with that burning rage, Woohyuk able to drop those area of effect shots. Actually, both Brocs are going to be going for that incendiary fire. That's going to give a big lead up to whichever team can better play around these big area of effect hits in the middle of the arena, Arc.
Yep, Sight getting a super out on the safe and early. So it's good to see Barley being played by both teams. And if you haven't seen it, there was a fantastic advertisement on the official Brawl Stars YouTube channel this week and on their Twitter as well for Barley. Nod to that. I absolutely love seeing those Brawl Stars animations. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But actually, SK Miracle now in a good spot to get a bit of damage. They were on a bit of the back foot early on, and now a bit of pressure being applied to B-Boy. It's a pretty even amount of damage being applied to both sides, but it is Modin getting some great shots continuously so onto the B-Boy safe. And now, look at this, only 20% left. This could be all over here really soon.
B-Boy taking a ton of damage and not able to justify that big hit. They're going to have to push back hard and not let a single brawler from SK Miracle back over the line. This is their final stand, Arc.
Yeah, it's like at the moment, B-Boy trying to get mid-control again and just push up sight, getting some shots out, but Moding is in a position to be on the defensive here. He can't really push the mid and contest Chappy's raining down shots. And actually, B-Boy here, if they can get this control, which Sight does gain that left-hand side lane and able to put pressure now, forcing back Moding. This is a great chance for B-Boy if they can capitalize here.
Not gonna get a chance to move in. Moding eliminated once again, and B-Boy are just getting that long-range damage piling on the safe. They've been able to put this back at parity now. 14% health for SK Miracle, but a chance to make it in. Moding takes the shot right out of the safe. He gets it. SK Miracle take their first game here against B-Boy in this heist game mode.
It's not over yet for SK Miracle. Some fights now we are seeing, and I did have my heart in my mouth to think back to what we saw earlier today with SK Miracle not able to finalize those games, and it did seem a little bit like history repeating there as we saw that counter push from B-Boy, and what a counter push it was. But it was SK Miracle at the end which got the damage they needed, and they're hanging on with it.
Yeah, not a smashing success by any means. Their own safe down into the teens on percentage, but able to leverage that early damage advantage that they got against B-Boy and not let enough pass. They got exactly what they needed on their last stab there. It was really kind of an all-in move from SK Miracle. If those last few shots hadn't gone up for Max, that might have been a chance for B-Boy to counterattack and end it all right there. So gutsy play, but well rewarded. Fortune favors the bold, and the bold from SK Miracle, that bold move there certainly paying off. Let's see how they do in game number 2 if they can keep up that pressure.
Yeah, they're going to change. If there's any changes, it's going to be a mirror comp, straight up mirror comp here as well. And yeah, the Max being not banned here is definitely, I think we've seen Max being played in every game mode so far. So yeah, no surprises there to see that pulled out once again. Little Giant early on getting pinched here between the champions to be allowing Moding actually to capitalize on the situation and push through the mid, and now Little Driver followed through as well, and a champion looks like he might even go down here with a few shots. Nope, staying alive. It's a bit of a base race now, buddy.
All three brawlers on the enemy safe, but it's going to be a retreat for SK Miracle, not able to keep up pace. They're moving back to try to play defense now against a B-Boy squad that has gotten their enemy safe down into the teens. Big lead here for B-Boy, but can they keep it up? A big kill from Modi on Atrophy. It's going to be able to tie things up again. Single digits left on that save. They've done it! SK Miracle have taken set number 3. A smashing, resounding, echoing chamber of victory here for them, moving back with a win against the B-Boy squad that, well, they've lost set number 3 in both of their matches so far. Is this the curse of the third set for B-Boy?
Exactly, it could well be. SK Miracle had a great round of heist then. As you can see there, actually not much different in terms of the deaths. Actually only 1 in it, but it's the damage on the safe heist which made all the difference for SK Miracle, and both rounds then going down to 0%, and that might help. It might well help going into this this fourth set to give them a bit of a lift, and as they were already down, and for all intents and purposes looked out to me, they're going to continue on here as we go into Nuts and Bolts Siege, a bit more of a control-based map, and that's my only reservation here, is that we have seen already B-Boy performing very well in Gem Grab, and Siege is kind of similar. You can't deny that.
Yeah, it's a really all-or-nothing game mode with the bolts spawning in the middle. Whichever team gets more gets that Siege bot, and there's kind of no reward at all for the team that has fewer bolts. The only prize you get is a big slap in the face as a robot comes in and tries to smash your Ike. So this, I think, dynamic plays a lot better to the team that's already in the lead. They're often willing to soak a smaller Siege bot earlier on if it means being able to get a bolt economic advantage for the late game. And I think that B-Boy are definitely the team to expected to take away the victory here. But having not really seen very much in terms of Siege so far in these first couple of matches, I'm interested to see how the meta has evolved in this first game, Mark.
You're going to see double thrower from SK Miracle straight out the gates, and I won't say which player said it, but I've heard that actually double thrower is a very good strategy against Surge. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see Surge later today, whether we do see that strategy being performed against it, as it is a very dominating brawler in the meta currently. But it is going to be an early push for B-Boy, and SK Miracle are forced to retreat and defend this. And the question now is whether B-Boy will just kind of hold this next round, or whether SK Miracle will start to try to get some early fight back into the mid. At the moment, the 3 bolts in the bag are with SK Miracle, but quick banks here, no doubt, from B-Boy might quickly change that.
Yeah, SK Miracle got more bolts off that first round, but not in time to deny the first siege spot to B-Boy. That positional advantage for B-Boy, though, is what's going to stay on their minds, though, as they've already been able to get all 5 now bolts from the second round. They've been able to get every single bolt from the second round, and that's just what you deserve when you're able to get that first bot on the field, forcing your opponents back onto defense, and only with 6% damage on their Ike, but still just enough to justify this big momentum swing now, all in B-Boy's favor.
That's a lot of damage raining in, and really just Woohurk and Moding able to put shots against the little giant, weak on the left-hand side as well. And this is not a great spot for SK Miracle to find themselves in. They need to get them back into this mid as Sight pops through. Great actual wall there being placed by Moding to force Sight into a spot, but it's going to be a bit of a scrap for SK Miracle to take anything here, as 8 bolts now are in the bag for B-Boy.
Still way too much to ask. A great job there to Moding, probably the best player of the 6 in that last round of exchange, but not enough to overcome the power that B-Boy have been setting up on this field. Great moves, especially from Max, being able to zip around the entire map and deny access to these throwers who rely so much on positionality to get the value out of their shots. A finishing blow here for B-Boy sets them up on the match point to take it all in game number 2, Ark.
Yeah, it could all be over in this next game in favor of B-Boy if they can just compose themselves. And I think for me, SK Miracle have got to change the double thrower comp. It's clearly not working. They weren't able to get a single push in that game. B-Boy were just absolutely walking all over them. They've got to mix things up, try something a bit tankier. Maybe even a Jackie could work and serve well for them here. She's not completely out of the meta. We have seen her being played a bit since the balance changes, but they've got to do something. This is not working. Double thrower is just not going to cut it in this next game.
Yeah, I'm looking for the hard punish. I want to see him go back to Mortis now. You want to run double thrower when you're up against a team that's been able to play Mortis before and get wins with him? Pretty ballsy, if you ask me, Ark.
Oh, if you pull out the Mortis pick here and it serves well, and you win the game with Mortis, then I mean, you can absolutely rest your head this evening, knowing full well that you've done well for yourself, because Mortis is definitely not the go-to brawler pick for Siege. But yeah, that would absolutely be the ultimate salt in the wound if B-Boy were to pull that card in the next game.
Or would maybe the first win with a Crow be even more devastating? It's time for style points, B-Boy. What are you going to bring in here? Oh, they've got Carl this time instead.
Carl's not actually a bad pick for this particular map, and they're going to bring out BB. I think it's the first time we've seen BB today as well, so change to both sides here. Be
and Jackie from Miracle.
Yeah, and Jackie as well. Yeah, I think Jackie's the more go-to brawler, I would say here. BB's definitely viable still. She's still in a pretty good spot. She's not as overpowered as she was in the previous meta, but she's definitely still a worthy go-to here. The Siege is going to be tied for the first round here, but it is B-Boy with the control.
Yeah, advantage for B-Boy as they've been able to get into the mid and hold on to it pretty strongly here. A double kill early on for them is going to allow them to establish a strong positional lead in the middle. Achapi struggling up against Little Giant now and kind of requiring that angling power from Sight, who charges in fully baring all of his teeth and growling as he takes a chomp right out of SK Miracle.
We're getting some good value there, and support from Moding is going to surely get Chubby taken down with a nice... Well, I'm loving, actually, I've got to say, despite SK Miracle being on the back foot, Moding is getting some great wall placements to be able to try to force B-Boy into a really nice channeling, but it's not really supported by his teammates, I feel, and that's what's causing SK Miracle to struggle. So level 12 coming in for them to defend, but got to be worth noted, actually, there are 8 bolts in the bank for SK Miracle, so a good defense here and a quick push back into the center. If they can survive this push, would be great for them.
I love that Michael Jackson moonwalk from sight. No matter which way he's moving, he can slide back around real fast with that gadget and use that perfectly to take out Modi and claim position in that second round. We've got the last siege now and a big lead for B-Boy on damage and positioning in the middle. But can they overcome this bolt advantage for SK Miracle and keep themselves in a safe position here? They need to get 3 more just to tie things up, and that's going to be a tall order with only 7 seconds left of the last siege arc.
Should be able to just about do it. If Modi can get this 1 here as well, and Lil Giant Banks, that's 10. That's not bad. That's kind of the best possible result that I think SK Miracle could hope for. Modi pulling the gadget, a really clutch play. It's got to be because they've got to stay alive for this push if they're going to have any hope in order to get the damage needed here. As now SK Miracle advancing, B-Boy are low as well. The damage starting to rain in. Can they do it? It's going to be...
Here it comes! The bot survives! That's going to be enough! SK Miracle have done it! Tied it up in this set number 4, 1-1 off the backs of a siege bot who just kept going, pulverizing the Ike with so many shots. And even when it was about to go down, that last and final push from SK Miracle would not be denied. Great moves there, not able to knock the Ike out, but more damage dealt than B-Boy could muster, Ark.
My goodness me, that was cutting it close for sure. Got to remind ourselves that B-Boy are on match point there, so and still are. So the pressure is very much with SK Miracle right now, but a different SK Miracle, I would say, to previous rounds, in the sense that they are now actually holding up to the pressure, whereas they weren't playing that way against Jupiter. So really mixing things up, and if they can just scrape through this next round of Siege, they will take it to the 5th and final set, and that's a place that I definitely feel that we were not in going in to Heist in the previous sets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen a set number 5 in either of the 2 previous matches so far. So if B-Boy does drop this, I think the SK Miracle would be in an amazing spot to make this comeback finally realized. But hey, fans of B-Boy have got a lot to be happy about so far. This is, once again, the match point for them, and they've been playing really well so far in game number 1 and trying to push that magic back into the center 4 once again. An early kill here for B-Boy is going to be great work toward making that happen. And a double kill. Wow, B-Boy really taking the pressure on against an SK Miracle team that hasn't been able to get the setup yet. They're running Sandy. What do you make of that swap out here?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Wuhik was on the right lane, basically against Slippy, and that is just not going to dwell well for you playing Sandy. And I think as she's struggling to get a single shot off so far, I don't feel like this was the best time for SK Miracle to really be experimenting with the comp. And already, look at that, for one push early on, 25% is not a good start, and they're all bunching left side here as well. It seems like this is turning around very quickly and not in favor of SK Miracle.
Off to Never Neverland for that Sandman. B-Boy have held strong in the middle, holding court against SK Miracle, which seems to be begging just for the scraps of the bolts spawning along the outer edge. A couple of them that they've been able to pick up now, but B-Boy have barely held any depths at all, and with the second siege bot coming in from them once again, this seems like B-Boy's match to lose, Ark.
Yeah, I really feel like Wuhik is struggling with this pick, and Sandy would not be the brawler that I would probably think to even kind of try to experiment with here. But, you know, pull from Odin is good. But, you know, at the moment, B-Boy know they're in a great spot. They can just kind of hold the mid control. They haven't really got much to do. They can just take a lane, a center position here, and SK Miracle are trapped. They're completely stuck in their spawn. And if this continues, B-Boy are going to be able to absolutely smash this out of the park in the final round of Siege.
It's all on the line right here and now. SK Miracle needed to make the push happen, but they couldn't find any inroad whatsoever. Shut it down with an absolute roadblock. Denial of any access whatsoever by B-Boy. The siege has done it. Able to get this third and final bot. That is going to be it. B-Boy will claim victory in this 4th set, and with it, the match win and the regional victory. Congratulations to B-Boy, and especially to Slippy. He's got to be my pick for MVP, Ark.
Oh, he played fantastically well, and yeah, absolutely congratulations to B-Boy. A fantastic result for them today, and they'll be taking home all that all-important prize money. But yeah, they had to work for it, but nonetheless, they were able just to comfortably, it seemed to me, finalize that game of Siege. And I think SK Miracle might be kicking themselves a little bit for some questionable brawler changes when it was kind of working in the previous rounds. But yeah, a great result today for B-Boy as we go into the stats. 62 bolts? Are you kidding me?
A massive lead for B-Boy on all three of these stat lines, and really clearly demonstrating their supremacy here today in the region. Congratulations to them. Let's send it over to Falcone for the wrap-up.
It's funny, Woody, that you say that Slippy is your choice for MVP, because funnily enough, our MVP in this incredible match for B-Boy is in fact going to be Slippy. And of course, straight away, I'm going to talk about Gem Grab. I'm going to talk about Mortis, because that play was ludicrous. Again, Woody summed this up beautifully when he was talking about it, but the audacity, the bravery that came from Slippy to slip behind the enemy lines, wait for the other team to get the gem, and then look at that, just using the super, charging back through after collecting everything. It was superb. Later on, he switched to Jean in the final game of Gen Grab, and with that final pull delivered on a golden platter to Pam those final gems. Things got a little bit worse for them then in Heist, but finally in Siege, Slippy, as Barley was able to just prevent the enemies from getting through any of the choke points without taking a ton of damage, meaning that the other team just weren't able to get the bolts quite like B-Boy were. And there is our final result. B-Boy are going to be taking this away as the winners of the A-Pack group. What an incredible performance from them. Again, I thought the Jupiter were going to be dominating today. I was completely wrong. B-Boy do it again. But now let's take a look at what that actually means in terms of prize money. B-Boy are taking home a really quite nice $9,000 between the team. Jupiter are taking home $6,000. And SK Miracle, they're okay. They still get $4,000 between them. You know, we got to reward everyone for qualifying, because qualifying in the first place is hard. But now, let's look at Worlds. Let's look at the leaderboard. Jupiter, 350 points. B-Boy is still quite far behind with only 180. PSG really looking like they're going to be the other qualification. I don't know that there's much B-Boy can do, even with consistent winning like that, to make it through. So really for this group, we've been looking more at prize money, and which B-Boy are not going to be complaining about that too much at all. Now, we have something a little bit different prepared for you right now. We're going to have a little video to show you right now, showing what has been going on in China. So Brawl Stars recently officially launched in China, and with it comes a whole new region of competition for our favorite esport. As you can see, they all, a bunch of the teams gathered together for their very own monthly finals recently. Something we haven't been able to do since March, but something that it looks like they had a lot of fun doing themselves recently. Unlike the other regions, they don't join us here for our sort of global finals, but they will be joining us later in the year for the world finals. They have one slot to give away for our most elite competition later on. So every single match played here really counted. Things weren't perfect in China, as I believe one of the players from the championship team, TIG Infinity, was actually unable to travel, unfortunately, due to restrictions within the country due to illness. And that is something that we're having to face at the moment, but still, they had a really awesome tournament here. You can see some amazing goals being scored in Brawl Ball. One thing that is worth noting is that there were 3 women competing in the top 8 teams. We had Yo-Yo, Chin, and Amy. We haven't seen many women competing in the other regions in Brawl, but I am confident that that is going to change very soon. We definitely love to see some more. So hopefully there are some brawlers that are inspired by how well these women did in China. One of the biggest stories that we've had in Brawl related to China actually comes from former global champions Nova. We see former Nova players Tom and Spen now playing for Tribe Gaming, doing very, very well in Europe. But the organization Nova now have several teams in China, including Nova China, who came 3rd in the June monthly finals. But there you have it. That is going to be all we've got from China. We can take a look at the leaderboard now, where you will see that TIG Infinity were the champions of the first monthly finals in China, followed by Nova China, they came second, sorry, not third, and TIG Origin in third. We're going to be watching these scores very closely over the next few months as, again, the number one team from China will be joining us here at our global finals later this year, something that I think we're all getting increasingly excited for, especially the players who are still fighting tooth and nail to get there. Let's take a look at Europe, which is going to be our next group. This is what we got. We got Tribe Gaming, we got Code Magic Purple, and we've got SK Gaming. 3 teams where, let's just say Europe is very, very interesting. We're going to take a look at their leaderboard. We're going to take a look at how close each team are from qualifying. Code Magic Purple sitting on top with 340 points. They are it. They have booked their spot. At the moment, Clash EU and SK Gaming looking pretty good too, but Tribe Gaming so close in 4th place. They are the 4 teams really up to the competition here. And this is what everything means. Code Magic Purple have qualified, 340 points. No other team can get that far. As you see on the right, Clash, for example, are able to gain another 30 in September and another 70 in October for a total of 390. That is the best they can do, but the other teams aren't able to overtake the 340 from Code Magic Purple. Tribe Gaming, although they are in 4th place here, finding themselves a little behind SK, they're in a fantastic spot given that SK have not qualified for the next monthly finals, which means Tribe have a little bit of time to get there. But the very first match is going to be Tribe versus Code Magic Purple. Everything counts for Tribe Gaming now, for Spen, for Tom, for Semantic. And this is going to be a big one. Tribe Gaming are the comeback kings of Brawl Stars. They had an extremely weak start in the first few months of the season, but they are making their way back and they're doing it with style. They keep winning, and if they continue to keep winning, they are in with a real shot to qualify for the global finals. Now that is exciting. At the end of July, Spen tweeted a photo of his new player jersey and captioned it, "So I guess I'm a pro player now." Yes, Spen, you're definitely a pro player, believe me. And it's time to show what you've got up against Code Magic Purple. We've got Cursed, we've got Jeton, we've got Twisty Twick, and we've got Sun Bentley. This is the team that have already qualified. Members of Code Magic Purple are typically very social creatures. They all said at the start of the season that their favorite hobby is chilling with friends. Chilling with friends hasn't been particularly easy this year, so they've had much more time than usual to focus on competition. Yeah, let's look for the silver lining here. We asked all the teams earlier in the year who they would want to add to their team if they could have anyone in the world, and the whole of Code Magic Purple agreed their team is perfect the way that they are. And heck, who am I to disagree? They've already qualified. They're about to take on Tribe Gaming. Who's going to win? We'll find out in this match.
Thank you very much, Falcone. Yes, EU vibes are currently flooding the Twitch and YouTube chats, and you stuck with me, just me. I can do and say and run the show however I want. This is amazing. Yeah, a hugely important month for both Tribe, Code Magic, and SK Gaming, all on the line for these teams. If you haven't followed the qualifiers, I do stream them a little bit on Twitch myself, but it was a very, very close game between Tribe Gaming and SK Gaming. We went to the very final game of Bounty in the final sets, and Tribe were just able to pull off the win. So that gave Tribe the qualification for next month, and SK Gaming didn't qualify for next month. Clash are not in this month either, so this is all to play for the entire European top leaderboard scene, and the Tribe Gaming ban is going to be Gale. The ban for Code Magic Purple is going to be Siege. So similar bans to the APAC region. And, got to point out as well that Code Magic Purple have been on Twitter tweeting a lot and exchanging gifts of presents and gifts. That makes me wonder what they've got up their sleeve. They've definitely been teasing that something is in the works. But the first game mode is going to be Siege. Some assembly required to kick things off. Both of these two teams, it's got to be mentioned as well, have had a very, very back and forth tournament. Tribe were a little bit late the mark and gradually starting to gain the momentum now, and definitely still in with a very good chance of qualifying with some good results this month and next month. They can still do this. Code Magic Purple have already qualified. They are really in a good spot today, but they want that prize money, and they're not going to give Tribe much chance to get at it if they can have it their way. Straight off the bat then, we're going to be seeing double Barley, double Gene, and Jackie is the only difference with the max pick for Tribe. Early on, a pull from Spen as well, but forced back very quickly by Cursed as well in a spot now, though, allowing Tribe to get some bolts in their favor. It's definitely going to be a first push, however, for Code Magic, and Tribe a little bit on the back foot. Samantha getting shots off Tom, popping the gadget, then slowing the bot down a bit, and Tom forcing a super over the top as well. It's a pretty good defense. Actually, Tribe are going to leave the bot just to linger a bit there. They're going to take the damage for the meanwhile, and it's at 20%. It's not a bad amount of damage to take early on, and favoring clearly for them that mid control instead. Jetson then picks up the bolt. Great pull from Spen. Actually, Sun goes down there, giving Tribe a chance to take the mid. It might even be a draw here. Gonna go for the fifth, the fourth. It might be a draw. It's gonna be a level 6 push actually in favor of Tribe, which is quite surprising now. This is going to be pretty awkward for Code Magic, but an early pull from Curse is actually crucial here, deflating that push, and a counter pull from Spen is great, but it is going to be less damage for Tribe as a result of that early takedown, and I've got to hand it to Curse there. That was a good observation and a good connection there, but it is now Tribe that have got the control. Despite there being 6 bolts in Code Magic's pocket, Tribe have got the advantage in terms of positioning here. With 20 seconds left, it's going to be going down to the wire here as somebody takes a lot of damage on the right hand side.
Code Magic Purple Arc, they need to actually come back into this one because they're being hooked in by Spen. There's the nice knockback from the gadget, and they've got a nice bolt lead here. They've got 8 bolts over to 4. And they've just going up to the last siege with 25 seconds remaining. They got that initial kill onto the enemy team. And there's a level 8 siege bot coming in. They need to get at least 2% on the damage. And they will walk away with the first round here, Arc. So it's not too much of a tall order. Now they're finally going to get that connection onto the Ica Starts, where the Code Magic Purple have done enough. And they're going to walk away with the first round.
BM's flying early on with the sad face from Code Magic Purple. So game 1 in the bag, but it's still very early days. Look at the trophies, mate. I just add there as well in that final end screen. Worth to mention that actually Spen has been pushing a lot on ladder recently, reaching global #1, accompanied by Curse as well for that push, and various other pro players involved in that, both of age for the tournament and below age. Drage was helping a lot with that push, Tom as well, and a lot of these players have done a really fantastic job worthy of pointing out this month, and in previous months are pushing very, very high on these leaderboards.
Yeah, so they're going to keep obviously looking to do that, especially at the monthly final where it all matters, because Arc in EU at least, there is still 1 more slot available, and there's a little bit of contention between these teams over who's going to take that final slot.
Yeah, this is it. Code Magic Purple have qualified. That is confirmed in the points. There's nothing that's going to affect that. But what Code Magic do in terms of how they affect the other teams advancing in this competition is going to make a big, big difference. If they are to force a win over Tribe right now, that's going to be and have a massive impact on how Tribe are able to advance in this competition.
Well, we're jumping into map number 2 right now, and Tribe need to get a win on the board here. The Jackie's going to roll out from Jeton. He looks forward. Semantic on the Frank as well, so hoping to find some value from that in this next engagement. Been pulled already by Curse, wasn't able to find that bolt. Jen's going to get away with that one and start building up that bolt lead for Code Magic Purple.
Spen has super here. It's going to be looking to pull, but he might be going probably for, well, I thought Jetson, but Jetson was healing really nicely and Semantic not able to connect. So actually, it's a good time for Spen to pull now early on, but not really able to get the distance, and might then even go, depending upon how this bot goes down in terms of damage for a bot pull, but actually Semantic tanking nicely there is going to mean that he will keep it. But we saw this in the last round. Tribe did take the first push. And there's the pull that Smell was looking for, and it connected with Curse. A great moment for Tribe to capitalize, but Semantic didn't quite connect with that super, and that could prove costly.
Yeah, they're also having the difficulty where they destroyed part of their own territory, so it will make it slightly easier for the members of Code Magic Purple to get onto their Ike. Great pull there by Spent again, pulls him into range of the Ike. And we'll go ahead and take a lot of damage for it. This is Tribe Gaming's opportunity to come back into this one. They should be able to get the next siege.
Yeah, great to see Spent hitting these consistent pulls as Gene. It's a brawler which he loves to play, and especially in Siege does bring out from time to time if it's not on the ban list, but it is still continuous pressure being placed upon them by Code Magic Purple. Samantha trying to connect, didn't connect with Curse or Jetson, but did go for the attempt. The thought was there, but it is going to be another push, and actually not a bad defense from Tribe there.
Yeah, great pull again there to start things off right into this final Siege phase. Tribe have already got 8 bots behind them, so if they're just able to win out here, stop Code Magic Purple from closing that gap, they should be able to walk away here quite comfortably. 2 supers going to be committed there for 1 kill, so a little bit of desync there between Spen and Semantic. They're still going to get enough bots for the last siege. 27% is all they need to try and walk away with the victory here, but they're going to give a nice little lead from Tom with the barley.
Look at Curse's position here, very smart, but actually going to take that by Semantic. What Curse was trying to do was force forwards on the map to pull the bot, to delay the timer there, but it was shut down really smartly so by Semantic, and now the pressure on for Code Magic Purple to defend, and it's not going to be enough because Tribe have managed to do it in the final push. It's not over yet. This first set is still all to play for as Tribe will draw in the games.
Yeah, able to absolutely demolish that Ike at the end there. The bot was too powerful, and I completely agree with you, Ark. They were definitely trying to burn down the clock further into the field than they were close to their Ike, and correctly punished by Tribe to make sure they got max value out of that last siege.
Yeah, again, I've got to hand it to Curse. It was a really smart idea there because we've seen that in Siege a few times this tournament where if you're playing Gene, if you get right in that bottom right corner and just kind of like lock yourself down, you can like let the bot push up to about halfway and then just drag it all the way back. And if you're then able to tank the damage at the other end, the timer runs out before the bot's actually able to connect. So it was a really good idea, but it didn't quite pay off this time around for Code Magic Purple.
Well, we've got a couple of seconds left before we jump into our final round of Siege, and we're hoping to have that fixed up ready for you. Got to also talk about the solo cast that you did there. Our apologies on that one. There was some technical issues on my end, and I didn't want to interrupt your flow, so it took a little bit longer for you to come back in. I sort of listened for a little bit.
I was surprised you stayed awake, Trid. No, I thought I'd just kind of keep talking until you, but I left a couple of gaps, but then, these things happen. It's one of the things that we're actually like doing, I would say, a really fantastic job of coping with COVID and the way things have gone. I've got to point out that, for this tournament to even continue on any level was a massive achievement by both Supercell and ESL. So huge shout out to them for doing everything they've done because, you guys watch at home and it's all polished and, but in the background, so many people have got and put so much time into making the production continue. So a massive shout out to them. But the first push is from Tribe this time round.
Quite big as well, actually. A lot of value done for such a low-level siege bot there.
Yeah, 40% is nothing to shy away from. And Jetson going to Frank in this game, I feel like might not be working out too well for Code Magic Purple. Some betting going to go down as well. And this is all Tribe right now, Trid.
Yeah, they've got absolute control over this one. The bot lead's building back up for them again. They're really struggling to crack through the defense of just raw damage that's being put out by the members of Tribe.
Yeah, it's an interesting change of events. We saw Semantic change from Frank to Spike, and I got a feeling that was actually part of the plan. I feel like Jetson's kind of matched that Frank pick that Semantic was using, and then as a result, Semantic's gone, you know what, I'm going to counter you in prediction of you changing, and this is really interesting to see.
Yeah, so 33% alive for Code Magic Purple. That's all they got left in terms of HP. This last siege needs to be huge, and they've not been able to wrestle this control away from Tribe, so I'm struggling to see how they're going to get the bolts needed to actually mount some kind of offense.
I've got to say, this is a massive turning point for Tribe. At the beginning of this first set, they looked definitely to be struggling, and now, in the third game, they're very much the other way around and dominating this final game. They're surely going to take this first set. Yeah.
It's absolutely over. There's nothing that Code Magic Purple can do to close this gap, and they've got a level 10 siege bot coming at them. First map, going the way of Tribe Gaming, so they will take the 1-0 lead in this series so far.
Yeah, what a great start, and definitely the start that Tribe wanted to get inside the minds of Code Magic Purple and play on that early on is crucial. We've seen very, very big matchups between these two teams in the past, and it has gone either way. They're so closely matched. It's either been Code Magic Purple or Tribe, pretty much 50-50 all the way. So to get that early lead is so important for Tribe early on.
Absolutely, and have a look at a few replays on the screen right now, in particular this last map, and really smart mind games there by Tribe to predict the Jet on Frank pick, as you touched on so eloquently, Ark, and switch over to something that could stay at range and deal with it safely, such as the spike. So Tribe Gaming not being put on the back foot here, absolutely dominating the stat line as well across the entire set. So great start for this team, and yeah, they're in a good position where they're contesting a team that's already qualified for the World Finals, so it can mean nothing but good things for this roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next game mode that will determine that will be Deeper Danger. The game mode will be Bounty, sorry. And this will bring out some different brawlers. I would imagine we're going to see some Mr. P here. He's very, very good at seeking out the opposition inside those bushes. The bands, if you're just joining, are Gale and Surge. So unfortunately, not going to see any of Surge yet. We've yet to see Surge today. He is a playable option for players, but he has been banned in every single game that we've witnessed so far, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit to see whether he comes out later. But yeah, it's gotta be mentioned, Trid, like you said earlier, again, like how important this is for Tribe. To get a win against Code Magic, who have already qualified, is crucial for them. They are just behind SK Gaming on the leaderboards in 4th place. Clash are in 2nd place, so it really is now a battle between those 3 teams to secure their spots. There are 3 places to earn for the World Finals, and Tribe absolutely want a piece of that cake.
Yeah, they have to keep themselves in contention by taking away map wins wherever they can get them from, and if they can take down Code Magic, who supposedly, by the numbers, will be one of the harder opponents to take down, it does bode well for them in future. Set number 2, we're heading into Bounty. Have a look at the teams. We got ourselves a Slambulance coming in for Tribe, and something a little different for Code Magic Purple.
This is so different. We got double thrower on one side, the Primo as well instead of the Rosa here. I feel is Tribe saying we're feeling that the bushes are going to be taken down quickly, so we're going to go with Primo to try to close the gap in those situations where there's a bit of a spawn trap involved. But yeah, very different comps to what I was expecting here, Tred.
Well, Primo's into the back line, but he's being forced out. So much damage and attention being paid towards him. I'm struggling to see what he can get done. Some Bentley will take him out of the back line. He's bought enough time for Spen and Tom to catch up, and they're picking up kills on the exit, so they're able to balance out the stars for the time being. It's about whether they can get a lead. They're playing this all committal on Semantic to be a distraction and a threat, and then they try and follow him up. That might not always work.
It might not always work, and it might also lead to kind of feeding, which eventually will lead to more supers being able to be thrown at Tribe in that sense. And Tick, I have my eyes on Tick here really. Tom is going to struggle to take down that Tick head if left alone, and Semantic as well being such close ranged. It's going to be kind of all down to Spen to deal with that. But look at this, actually, a bit of a push coming in from Tribe. The spawn push trap there is definitely lighting up their eyes, and it's drawn stars right now. So an interesting aggression that we're seeing from Tribe. They want to get this first game round in their favor.
Further down the clock a little bit longer, 20 seconds remaining. Could see a tie if nothing happens, but here's some aggression coming out from Tribe. They cut off the retreat for them, and that headfirst will take connection on Spen. Semantic is incredibly low. He's cut off from support. Tom's going to be the one to go down. They need to get kills here. Spen's going to go in. He finds it just with the raw damage. That 1-star advantage enough, but Semantic's at risk of going down. They want to go for the kill onto him. There's a 3-star difference. They can equalize out for the draw. They find it at the end. And Cursed will find the draw needed for Code Magic. So we're going to do that all over again.
I gotta say, Tred, like, for me, Semantic he could have jumped away from the spawn. Spen had the kill in the bag and gave Tribe the lead. There was really no need to continue the aggression. He could have used it in a more defensive manner, but I guess maybe then just not really fully aware of the gravity of that, and as a result, we're doing this all again.
Yeah, so we'll jump into another attempt at Bounty as soon as we can. Semantic just getting caught out there at the end. Cursed able to lock him in a box effectively and stop his movements with the tick. And there we have the tied score of 10 stars apiece. I do not know whether there will be changes coming in. I understand your point about bringing in the Primo instead of the Rosa because we don't know about the longevity of the brush and it makes it harder. But I feel as though the Primo didn't get much damage done. It was more of a distraction. Maybe they want to swap out their beefier unit to something that can actually contribute towards these kills.
I couldn't agree more. 100%. Primo for me is not in a great place in the meta right now in any way. I could see the idea of closing the gap, I think was what that was trying to be aimed towards, so that you could kind of like, really force back Code Magic Purple. If you've got your super, you can just kind of flash it and say, look, I've got it. I can jump at any moment, and that will encourage the spawn trap. But I think that's where, for me, the comp was undermined. They're not going to change it. They're going to keep with the Primo pick, Trid.
Well, they even lost early star control as well, so they're on the back foot, and Semantic's about to go down. Great flip on Curse, but he just gets pushed into the spawn. And now they're looking for Spen to go in. There's that first kill to equalize, so all reliable, Spen going in there and saving the day. The retreat's been cut off, but the damage is not there from Code Magic to capitalize.
In a way, though, it's kind of working there. I mean, I think Semantic got a little bit of a sore trade-off there. The gadget use, I get the idea of trying to bring Code Magic Purple with a nice suplex over the head in towards Tribe teammates there. But got to be said, Tribe are getting a lot of spawn traps as a result of their comp, and so far it seems to be paying off a little bit in favor of Tribe.
But for the time being, the Code Magic have got that lead in the stars now. They've got 1 star over Tribe. Can't get too close to Spen. He's trading damage with Jet on. That's going to force them to go back. That tanky unit, once that starts to fall, the angles get closed down for Code Magic. Here comes the offensive. He's in a great position to use the super. Great turnaround from Jet on there. The Semantic goes in, tries to split the fight with his super. The flip over the top. Still finding the kills over for Tribe Gaming, but it's 10-9, and Semantic is not allowed to leave. That's what we wanted to see from game 1. The fast escape with the elbow drop. Cursed again catches him on the exit.
It was great for Semantic. I really do like what I'm seeing in terms of the plays, but again, just not able to get out quick enough. Spen will get a kill, but it's still not enough to close the deficit. And now Tribe are going to go on the aggression once again, instead of retreating when they had the lead. And this might be costly for them, but the pinches are good. Tribe are getting great spawn traps. And again, we're seeing it with this comp. Here we go again. Spen with the pull. Double
pull him in. It was good enough. They've locked him in. They're tying out 21-17. If Curse can get a turnaround kill here, it might be enough. They found the one. They won't get the star. And Semantic escapes with his life. Tribe pull away that first round win.
Actually, I might be going out on a limb. Possibly one of my favorite plays of maybe the entire tournament there. Semantic just absolutely went to town, punishing every single player in Code Magic Purple. And as soon as he had the super, jumping on the next one, getting super, jumping on the next one. What an amazing finale to that round. And the Primo was the star of the show.
Surprisingly, considering we had his stocks down incredibly low, and then he suddenly had like a nice pump of value, and now everyone's wishing they would have hodled that, but apparently it's not enough. Semantic there, the punishment you were talking about, Ark, in the replays right at the end, did a fantastic job to find that value and gets out. That was the most important thing. If he could adapt and find himself to escape with the stars, then Tribe Gaming will walk away with the victory. So that's only game number 1 of Bounty. We still have potentially 2 more to go, minimum. Guaranteed to see at least 1 more. So let's be thankful for that one.
And this is the thing for me that this is why I love Brawl Stars in terms of esports, because the players just continue to surprise me. I think that, bringing out the Primo pick, which was obviously the result of the last game, much to do with the reason why the draw was the case, and then thinking they're making the same mistake again. And that was the key to winning that game. So it just keeps me on the edge of my seat with every single game. And like you say, there's still potentially 2 more games of Bounty to go. We're far from out of this set yet.
Yeah, we've still got a long way to go with this one, but I wouldn't want it any other way when it comes down to the EU teams. Got a lot of love for Tribe because of the UK representation. I'm sure you do as well, Ark. We can't let that too much. You can have a brief mention every now and then.
Okay, yeah. I mean, in terms of nationality, we're definitely biased there for sure. But yeah, I mean, Code Magic definitely have got a very, very strong roster. That's the thing. And regardless as to where players are from, it's a team effort. And I think that Code Magic Purple are absolutely going to give Tribe a run for their money, and might make some changes here in the next round. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, well, we've got Tom now onto the Sprout instead, so they're going to run with a mirror composition.
There we go.
Actually, the Slambulance coming out from Code Magic this time, so complete mirror of what we've seen in the past.
I actually prefer this Slambulance with the Rosa. For me, that's a better kind of advantage there. And actually, let's look at so actually the only players that can break bushes in terms of Tribe is the Gene with a pull and Tom with a super. So they'll be looking to do that because that will take away Curse's advantage. A missed pull from Spen early on is going to put Tribe in a difficult spot here, Trid.
This is really good here. You saw that Semantic was able to use his super to pull Jeton away, and he's going to try and build it up again. He's buying more time for Tom and Spen to deal with this, but a kill is a kill in the eyes of Code Magic. Great pull there, equalizes. So I guess that's the play if you're Tribe. Try and kite away the aggression, minimize your losses, and then go on a counterattack, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, I was actually really worried because it looked to me like the mother of all spawn traps, but it did seem that Tribe are turning it around and they're continuing to turn it around and looking very comfortable right now in terms of taking down these opportunities that Code Magic are trying to create with these spawn traps. It is a really, really good start for Tribe.
Nearly there. Super's online for Code Magic Purple. They're going to want to try and get the pinch sorted again. Jeton been forced to initiate now. Curse moves forward. Gadget use from Spen to buy some time. Jeton has isolated Tom in the back right corner. That's easy pickings, but Semantic walks forward, passes over a boatload of stars to Curse for Spen to pick up, and Tom's still alive! Ow! He's just locked himself in a corner, and now Jeton is going to go down as well. Unbelievable. Tom just like saying, nope, if you can't see me, I can't see you. You're not a problem. Hide.
I'm safe in my space.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Great pull again to kick things off. Now Semantic can pop the super. Pull them together. Spen is the target of your Code Magic. A kill on him should be enough, but no! He's going to burn through them. A 10-star difference, and Tribe Gaming close out the set.
Fantastic plays from Tribe. I've got to say that for me, a lot of the opportunities came from Spen with the pulls. Curse was always in a spot when he was low, Spen was looking to pull. There we see it there. Even with that super trying to get away, it was always about damaging Curse to get that HP down to a reasonable level and then getting the gene pool to suck him in to get those stars. A lot of the interactions there I felt came from those pulls from Spen.
Yeah, Spen did a fantastic job there once again. I'm just surprised Tom was able to stay alive in that little corner.
I think, to be fair, the worst Brawl to be faced off against in that circumstance is the Jackie. So the kill was actually made, but nonetheless, it denied the ability for him to kind of retreat, and as a result, tried to pick up the kill. And here we see a big difference on the kills to death ratio. Tribe definitely much more in favor of that, despite actually more damage on the Code Magic Purple side of things. So the kills are what matters, though.
So I'll explain that by just by brawler picks, because you got to remember we had 2 rounds of Slambulance in favor of Tribe and 1 round in favor of Code Magic Purple. There's a lot more HP in a Slambulance comp that can burn through without getting kills confirmed. So that is why Code Magic has more. Not necessarily indicative of gameplay, it's indicative of composition.
Really nice insight.
We smart.
Big brain. Big brain. Triple Dribble is the next map. Brawl will very, very different to Bounty, so these players will have to adjust. They'll have to rethink going into their strategies here, because Bounty is very much about being aggressive and defensive in equal measure. Brawl much more about control and seizing the opportunity.
Well, let's see what happens then. So we've got the Carl, the Gene, the Max, mirror compositions for both Tribe and Code Magic Purple to kick things off.
Yeah, definitely in kind of coordination to what we've seen similar in the APAC region earlier today. Good to see Carl as well making an appearance. I think it's actually a really, really good map for Carl. We might even see Tribe consider it in the next games to follow. But right now, the action is here. And Semantic with a...
Oh my god! Oh my god, what reactions there from Cursed and some Bentley. They nearly got away with that one in defending it, but they just moved at a drop of a hat. Tribe hit the go button and scored that first goal.
It found a gap, and it was a great pass, it has to be said, but now actually a bit more on the back foot as all 3 members of Code Magic Purple advancing in the pool there is great, and that should allow actually Tribe to push back as Tom is actually cancelled. So much back and forth in those interactions there, but Tribe on a bit of a push here.
They're just going to pass the ball away and wait for them to get all 3 members online. Here comes Tom with the respawns. He's going to look for the contest. Got a super online now. Great pull once again by Spen, opening it all up for Tribe. Semantic dashes in to close down the sightlines. Just Jeton left by him, lonesome. They're going to pop the speed boost and wait for the respawn, so he did lose one in the process. Great response there by Jeton to take one with him, and they will stop the momentum from Tribe.
Yeah, pocketing the ball then for Magic Purple is it's an option here, but I think that they need to find the space to move up, and Curse does pull Tom, gets taken down though at the same time as a result of low HP here, and now Tribe are looking for the gap past the Spen, could be good to Semantic, but not quite able to make something happen there.
Yeah, there's too many members there. Tom can't quite find the entry to get in there with his super. Spen finally pulled away. That's finally a good pull from Curse. I was concerned at how he was using his super, considering that he was isolated and wanted to take a fight. In stark contrast to what we see from Spen, who's always pulling when he's got support around him. And finally got caught out by that one as they're being boxed in by Magic Purple. Jeton gonna dodge that ball, he's gonna go in with the super. Great cancel there from Spen to stop the damage coming in, but it's still gonna get the kill, and they're gonna remove him. Curse can walk this one in. Magic Purple gonna equalize with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, it was literally then or not really at all in that capitalization of Spen's mispull, and again another mispull could be costing for Tribe here as Magic Purple looking for an opportunity, but Sun low has to retreat, and actually could be a great chance and positioning here for Tribe to capitalize as we go into overtime trade.
Yeah, no more boxes, no more terrain. Waiting for the full strength to come back. Who's going to get super passes online first? Semantic going to pop his super on cooldown. Get everyone moving fast. Curse ready to go. Gets the hook onto Tom. Pulls him into the middle. No response there, so they have a man advantage. Somebody with a pass. Jeton, he's offside, but that's not a real thing in Brawl Ball. They're waiting for the respawn to come back. Spen, he made ball pass time. They passed it off to the side. And Jeton gets it around Tom. So they will go and get that first game win.
What a placement from Jeton. I actually kind of wondered whether it was going to make it into the goal or be one of those unfortunate moments of a miss. What under pressure as well. What an incredible final minute goal from Magic Purple. But I've got to say, I did feel like Tribe for the most part were playing very well, but just a couple of missed gene pulls kind of led to a bit of a tricky situation on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just like the missed gene pools as well. I just want to talk about the gene pools in general. I feel as though Cursed not giving up to his usual name, not living up to the standard he set. A couple of reasons for that. We saw gene pools when he was isolated, so he couldn't capitalize on a kill. He decided he was going to pull in a Carl with super and immediately got deleted for it. So any kind of pick potential you had was turned around because you just immediately lost your life. Yeah, you get the Carl eventually when your teammate comes in, but you're trading, not taking victories there. So yeah, disappointing from Curse so far with his gene. I expect better of him, and I'm sure he's going to deliver more as the series goes on.
Actually, it's normally Jeton that takes the lead for Gene. Jeton's actually one of the most notorious genes in the EU, and I think just in general for me, Magic Purple are not kind of working as a unit. What we've seen so much in the past and what Magic Purple do so well is they work as a team, but that's kind of what we're seeing more from Tribe today, and those takedowns being worked on as a unit, and I feel like Magic Purple are trying to get kills as individuals and not as a unit.
Well, hopefully they can bring it together as we head into the second game of Brawl Ball. Cursed has the ball early, forces back Spen and Semantic to try and free up some Bentley's path of attack. No kills yet, so they can't really do too much with this space they've been given.
Yep, Spen gets the kill, low on health though, but able to survive on here, and Semantic should help with this takedown for Jeton.
Yeah, they're going to box him in. Respawns come in. They're going to leave the ball where it is and get territorial control. They know that Spen can just bring the ball up from the rear as long as they control the space.
Yeah, exactly. Tom with a nice hit on Curse as he tries to come in. Curse will be looking to pull here and maybe choosing to break some of this cover in the process. Does get the ball, a joint pull on Spen and Curse, but it's actually Spen that survives, and Curse takes a beating there as that interaction goes down, and now Tribe will be looking to get this in the goal early on here, and Tom has to, that's going to be a great opportunity to capitalize if they can just eradicate some of this HP in this push.
Yeah, Dash is being traded out by the Maxes. They're going to speed boost in. Tom's got the advantage. He needs to go in on top of Curse. Misses the first pickaxe. The hammer is there. He's just going to just burn through them. Pass over to Tom. He's going to try and walk this one in through Jeton, but he just walks in there. How does he get away with that? He gave the ball to Jeton. I think did Jeton pass it back?
Yeah, it was actually a bit of an awkward interaction as that almost cost Tribe the goal, but a pull from Spen early will deflate this early push. But Spen with a dash! Oh my goodness me, that actually almost resulted in a goal, and Tom is the lone survivor now and looking to see, he's going to retreat. Yeah, Curse is super, there's not really much he can
not
do.
Not entirely. He's just getting the ball into the back corner, and he's going to allow the rest of the teammates to come in, pull Tom in. Curse nearly loses his life again. They can just wait. They have the advantage. They have the goal lead at present. Just to see how they plan this out. Jetson's going to bounce it off the side, move it in. Some Bentley and Curse unable to follow up right now. They are quite low on HP. Super pass, hardly squeeze it in! No, Tom! Oh, Tom, you used the super. You can't touch a ball. You can't block a ball like that, my friend. And that's exactly what Jeton knew when he triggered the super pass.
Incredible from Jeton to spot that moment of opportunity was fantastic. But now Tribe looking to us, not enough. And now Semantic all on his own here. And the Code Magic Purple can smell it in their mouths here. Curse on his own a bit though, and not, it doesn't work.
Hey, overtime, he's got a super pass, he just squeezed it through! Cursed gets the ball in, and that is going to be our second set going the way of Code Magic Purple.
I cannot believe some of those plays in that game. There was amazing opportunities created by Code Magic Purple. The shot from Jeton to spot the Thomas Supering was a really good observation. And then the pass to the wall for Curse to get the takedown to then time it so perfectly with overtime was nothing short of perfection from Code Magic Purple.
He just immediately, as soon as the boxes break, he just takes the shot, gets it around the sides, able to weave that one in. And Code Magic were behind in terms of damage. There are times of kills. We're struggling to keep up with Tribe, but they found efficient use of the time they were given when they had man advantages.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's not an easy thing when you're behind on a goal, and that was what Code Magic Purple were faced up against. They had to come back quickly. They've got through that round, and now Sandy Gems Heist is a dangerous game mode to be at such a late stage in the sets, because with base races and unpredictability here, I think it's fair to say that Heist is a more challenging game mode for teams to have any kind of real assertiveness over without... There's always some risk with whether you're going to go on the aggressive or the defensive, and whether you're doing one when you should be doing the other.
Yeah, they're going to have to find that balance quite nicely as we move into this next round arc. 2-1 scoreline in favor of Tribe, so they just need to win this set and they can go ahead and walk away with the first victory of the EU region. Code Magic Purple, they started their reverse sweep. It's now time to commit and finish it one. Let's head over to the heist mode, and this is looking pretty much peak Tribe right now. You got the Max, you got the Spike, and also bringing the Brock to the field. Jeton's going over to the Rico instead of the Spike, but other than that, it's a mirror comp.
Yeah, I do like Rico. I do have a bit of a soft spot for Rico on Heist. I do like playing it myself, but it is a bit of a riskier choice. He's a bit squidgier in terms of his HP, and if Tom can land those shots, if they keep it on that same lane, then it's going to be a difficult position. But here, Justin getting some great moments. He does get the takedown on Tom as well, and now the damage will be rolling in for Code Magic Purple.
Oh, no, Tom. You need to be winning those against Jeton. You could close those gaps fast. Gonna bounce it off the wall, need to clear out the box. No damage given to Code Magic safe right now. They're too busy trying to break through this line and deal with Jeton. They've done just that, but now Curse is in position. He's got a super online. He's gonna try and speed out of this one and get back to deal with Spen, who's now got open line on the safe. In fact, he's not got open line on the safe. No one can touch it yet.
I love the way Curse was just dancing with those max gadgets there, but for me, it feels like Code Magic Purple have got a bit more control, and Jeton now using Roman Retreat there, that star power to get a takedown and Spread as well, and just evading. I've got to hand it to Code Magic Purple. The evasion that we're seeing right now is very much with them, as opposed to Tribe.
That's been fantastic so far. Finally, some damage being dealt onto the Code Magic safe by Semantic, who snuck whack in there. Some Bentley will deal with him. They're keeping around Spen at the moment. They don't want to let him get through with that Rocket Rain, and now some Bentley is going to use it. Has to use the gadget to escape Curse from Tom. Point blank range. Using the gadget to get away, and will get taken down by Semantic. Man advantage for Tribe as they've got a 3-1 right now. They have to convert this into damage on the safe, but they're not in range just yet. Cursed is going to have to try and get out and defend this one, and there's no conversion at the moment, Arc.
Yeah, playing the slow game here. I feel like they were in a good spot, but they are just continuously going for kills to get a monster push, and they do need to kind of adopt that strategy here as they are behind. Spen getting some trickle damage, but now I feel like they just lost a bit of that momentum. They were in a great spot to kind of try to get this one locked down and finished, and now they're still a little bit behind, but not nearly as much here. But Jeton on the right-hand side now going in, might be able to get some damage. Curse on his own. This is going to be a bit of a race here, Trid.
I don't know. It's 2-1 in terms of the race. I don't think Tom's got the damage to out-damage them. And they've still got to run Sun Bentley until the end right now. Reinforcements coming back in to try and help. There's too much of a lead, I feel. I don't think there's going to be a way that Tribe Gaming come back into this one. They're closing the gap as best they can. They did it! What? What?
Eat your words, Trent. What an amazing final display from Tribe. Just when you think it's all over, they come back strong. I can't believe that.
That comeback raised octaves in my voice that I didn't know I had, Ark. Completely caught off guard by that. They just were able to get it in, not body blocking. Spen, 56 HP before he went down. And that was kept the duration of the Rocket Rain online for him to close that gap. If he would have gone down, that would not have gone their way. Tribe Gaming had no right winning that game, and now they move into the second of this set.
In that replay, I saw the best instance of instant karma. I think there was correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw a sad face pin emote from Magic Purple, and it couldn't have been turned around faster. My goodness me, they're going to have to recover from this in this next game, or this could be a bit of a sweep going on, Drid.
Yeah, Semantic has turned into the Carl this time around rather than the Spike. He's already found great value. It's having a much better time of clearing out these lurkers in the base of Tribe. And now they can push forward. They've closed this gap significantly, and they're keeping more on track with Magic Purple than they were in the previous round.
Yeah, that finale on that last game is definitely going to give them a bit of a boost here, and we are seeing a much better display of control from Tribe and taking their lanes and kind of they look like they're in control right now. They're shutting down Magic Purple before they get out of the spawn, forcing Curse to use the speed to push through here, and if they can just kind of maintain this, it's a great place for them to be.
Great reactions there by Kirsch, uses the gadget to get out of range of Semantic. Kills coming in for Sun Bentley, uses the gadget immediately afterwards. Now he's straight onto the safe. Semantic's caught between a rock and a hard place. He needs the help from Spen. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Tom has been trading out damage on the back line to keep him in it. But they've not cleared out the members of Magic. In fact, they're losing more lives. Rocket Rain over the top, and Kirst is coming in for the killing blow. Magic Purple equalize the set.
Wow, for me, Sun Bentley did a great job there, staying so far within the Tribe terrain and staying alive on such low HP, and I feel like that definitely allowed a nice dynamic between him and his teammates to get that pressure there and just continuously pound the Tribe safe, and a great comeback. Magic Purple displaying that despite taking a really nasty defeat in that fight in that previous round, able to stay on top in this round.
Yeah, fantastic showing from them, and now we've got our deciding round of Heist to come into play. We have seen a Heist draw, very rare, but it can happen, and I know it can as we jump into game number 3. Taking a look at the compositions, they're going to bring Spen out on a Rico of their own to match the comp.
Yeah, and worthy to mention again, we are on match point. I kind of actually almost forgot that Tribe are on match point. So now the pressure is definitely with Magic Purple. Tribe with a good early takedown on both Chetan and Cursed, and now pummeling damage onto the safe.
Yeah, Spen able to get in there as well, just to make great use of the window they created. This is more that capitalization we wanted to see from Tribe in game 1 and 2. And they're not missing a beat when it comes to game 3. Semantic getting the first kill, 2 kills down. Tribe needs some HP, and then they'll start walking forward. Jet on court as well. A team wipe, and the Rocket Rain shall be used. The safe is now fundamentally exposed.
I like the strategy from Tribe. They're not going all in to kind of like, they're trying to focus on just staying alive. And you're seeing Curse and Sun going down and Jetson going down. And now this is the opportunity that Tribe want to bury Magic Purple today. As early on as this, 40% damage is a great lead with 1 minute 30 left on the clock.
Able to cover for Spen there to shut down the offensive coming out. Jeton unable to stop Spen either. He's just been able to get range. Will finally find that shot that he needed as he'll take him out, but 39% to 90, the definitive lead in favor of Tribe, as Cursed cannot win this duel against Tom. And Semantic has to back off for now. He needs more health.
Yeah, Tribe being very, very aware of their HP, and I can't really say, to be honest, the same for Magic Purple right now, as we are seeing far more deaths occurring and low HP all round, and this is what's giving Tribe the chance to push, and push they are. A bit of a push from Magic Purple here, but it's not really availing to anything, Trin.
No, it's not at all. And now they're just back onto the safe again. Spen and Semantic have such range to play with. It's hard for Co-Magic to get in here. 29% to 88. Semantic going to get a few final shots before he goes in for a respawn. Now Sam Bentley going to do exactly the same. But if they go for a base race, Co-Magic will lose it. And it's Bomb and Spen. They're on the safe. It's all over. One more shot. Body blocking from Curse. Buys enough time. But the rocket sneaks in from Semantic. Tribe Gaming take down Co-Magic Purple.
What a story to start the day for the EU side of things. A great and very important victory for Tribe Gaming as they are fighting in 4th place on our leaderboards to qualify. This is a huge, huge result, and now all eyes are absolutely going to be on Tribe Gaming's game against SK Gaming, which I believe is coming up next.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out for them. Look at the stats. Tribe all over that one. Damage, safe damage, and kills all in favor of Tribe over the course of that set. So they were able to pull out with the victory at the end there. Great bit of work from them. We're going to throw over to Falcone. He's going to take us through to the next series.
I referred to these guys earlier as the comeback kings, and oh my goodness, they definitely are that. Yeah, okay, Tribe have really pulled it out of the bag for the second half of this season. Spen is going to be our MVP for this match, and partially due to the breadth of brawlers that he played as, but also, you know, every single limb on Siege counts. That respawn timer is a killer when you're trying to get those bolts. There was no fragger better in Siege than Spen, pulling his enemies into the range of his Ike to consistently take them out. He started Bounty with Jackie and then switched back to Jean, once again getting those huge bursts of damage and guaranteeing a limbs with some excellent Jean pulls. Finally, he switched over to Rico eventually in Heist and played his very own little game of keep away from my safe while pushing forwards into the enemy safe at the same time as soon as he had a chance, wailing on that safe. Later on in the match, it was an incredibly well-deserved win, and the whole team at Tribe Gaming played out of their minds. There were huge moments there for Semantic and Tom as well. Really well played. Tribe Gaming, they are really proving what they've got over the last few months, and I hope to see it continue. I think they've become a little bit of a fan favorite, and with good reason. There is some crazy consistency here. But let's take a look at the group and see how that game reflects the match overall, or the group overall. Tribe sitting with a 3-1 set score. And now the question lies with SK Gaming, because Co-Magic Purple have already qualified. Yeah, okay, they wanted to win, they wanted the prize money, but they have qualified. It's not the end of the world for them. But for SK Gaming, they need to be taking Tribe down. They need to be winning this group. They have not qualified for the next monthly finals. They need to be winning this month. They need to be taking Tribe down. So this may be the most impactful match in the whole of Europe that we've seen so far. I mentioned briefly earlier, but Tom and Spen were both part of Nova, the current Brawl Stars World Champions. They've come together with Semantic this year, and they're getting closer and closer to getting back to Worlds. The next few months are very important. Tribe Gaming is also a fully British team, something that Trid referenced briefly earlier. 3 out of 4 members of our talent team is also British. Is that a coincidence? Well, actually, yes, it is. But it does make a nice change to see some British esports teams doing well. Keep it up, Tribe. On the other side of things, we've got SK Gaming. And as I've said several times now, and I'm going to continue to say it, this match is important. These teams are neck and neck in their race to qualify. But when we asked about this team's experience with esports, about YDE's experience, he claimed, "I was born to play Brawl Stars." These are some big words. If he's calling that out, I expect to see results. Trid, Woody, let's see a match.
So excited for this next one. This is not just the most important match we've seen in a while for the region, but for the entire world. Tribe Gaming and SK are neck and neck right now, and this is going to be the moment that will potentially decide which team goes to the World Finals.
Woody, I'm looking at the bans. There's no Surge been banned. We're probably going to end up seeing him in play for the first time at this monthly final. That'll be something to see.
I am really excited to see him surging into action. One of the most popular, strongest brawlers, and neither team locked him out. We're going to be starting off in Canal Grande, where it's all about the bounty stars racking up as many kills as possible. Is this an opportunity for Surge to make his way onto the field?
Well, if you can get that longevity, start racking up those stacks and empowering yourself, absolutely, Woody. You want to stay alive as long as possible on Surge to get maximum potential out of him. Exactly what you want to do in Bounty, so it's a perfect map to bring someone like that to the field. And already, without a doubt, the debut, we've got Semantic rolling out on it for Tribe, and then when we look towards SK Gaming, Skyrix is going to take over the responsibility.
It's double Surge on both sides. Remember, anytime he gets that super, he'll soup up and improve his ability as a brawler. All three brawlers for Tribe are going to be grouped up over on the left side, but it's a much more widespread for SK Gaming. And wow, Tribe have really capitalized early on, taking that first kill despite having not been able to grab the star out the bat. SK Gaming really out of position for this starting salvo.
Yeah, Tom has now got his head first online, so if anyone steps out of line, he's going to be able to throw that at them. Semantic still getting towards that first charge of Surge, will have the advantage over Skyrix, and it's a race to power up. They're going to destroy some of the brush that SK Gaming are using by dropping over Sprout Super.
Yeah, SK seem to really be struggling to find a spot that gives them an opening against this Tribe Gaming squad. Firing a long-range rocket salvo, Akil gets no hits whatsoever, and both teams are playing very defensively, super cautiously, spread out across the entirety of this field now. Tribe Gaming taking up the entire left side, while SK Gaming over on the right are equally spread out.
Yeah, no significant damage being laid down by anyone yet. They're just keeping him at bay. But when this goes on, Tribe Gaming are the ones with the advantage. 30 seconds going in. Semantic taking a rocket from a Cheel. We'll have to back out of this one and buy some time. Skyrix trying to find a way to get past Tom. It's just not happening, though.
And we're running low on time now, Trid. These bounty maps very often go way into the late game with teams not playing aggressively until the last opportunity they have to. But wow, big hit from Skyrix taking down Tom. Can he retreat though? Getting real low. Semantic with the return fire takes the lead once again for Tribe, but he's out of position, zipping around the map as best he can. A kill and the reverse. Tribe Spin LC keeps in the lead 8-6, and that'll be it for the first game.
Yeah, even with that enhanced movement speed from the level 2 Surge, he wasn't able to escape because Semantic was also at that stage as well, able to lock him down and get those advantages. We managed to get that second upgrade online right at the end, but it wasn't very useful because he immediately got deleted. As you know, if you're not familiar with Surge, if you're tuning in for the first time, Surge, once he dies, those stacks reset, and it becomes a journey to use your super to power yourself back online again. So, not getting the maximum value. The best we saw was some speedy boys, Woody. I'm hoping to see more from these guys.
Yeah, eye-popping power there from Semantic, but taken down at the end, it was just because he had gotten so many kills earlier on that Tribe were able to keep that advantage. But I gotta agree with you, getting those really high-level surges are what we expect to see from these top-level players, but it takes a long time to get them supercharged up like that. You gotta have a lot more action in the center, damage being dished out by both teams, jockeying for position if you want to get that max-level surge on the field.
Yeah, and while we're on Surge education, Woody, that max stack is so important, especially in Bounty, because once you hit that final level, your shots don't split into 2, they split into 6, and they go in different directions. So if we can get a max level Surge online, and you're trying to cluster and move as a unit, it becomes incredibly dangerous to do so because there's so much free damage being brought to the entire team rather than one individual.
Yeah, that super hexagon spreading the geometry madness all over, but it's a tall order to ask of these brawlers with so much skill on both sides of the map. Getting all the way up to max power is going to be super difficult, but it's another opportunity
Global is coming and we have an update for you. We have a brand new, beautiful 3D environment, skin and brawler revamps, and a brand new legendary brawler, all coming in this update. Okay, everybody, put on your 3D glasses because Brawl Stars is adding extra dimensions.
We upgraded all our environments to be rendered in real-time 3D. And not only that, we also used the opportunity to make all the maps a little bit wider. And for you hardcore players out there, don't be afraid, the viewing angle is still the same.
Once I got my hands on the 3D, I could not go back. You guys are gonna love it. Now, you guys have heard us talk a lot about the artwork going on behind the scenes. Well, we have really good news for you because in this update, we've got a ton of brawlers and skins that have been revamped. We have revamped Shelly.
Winning!
Bull.
Don't mess with me!
Nita.
Yeah!
Barley.
Bottoms up!
Brock.
And Dynamite.
I'm getting grumpy!
But that's not all. We have a brand new legendary brawler joining the game, and his name is Leon.
Leon is a medium-range brawler, but what's really cool about him is a super. It's invisibility.
His super lets him go invisible for a short amount of time. Also, taking damage or attacking will remove the invisibility briefly. This is really, really interesting, and it's gonna open up some amazing dynamics between counters and other brawlers that are already out there. I am so excited for you guys to meet him. There are two questions you have all been asking. First, when is global release? And second, where is Mortis's hat?
Global release is on the 12th of December. Because tens of millions of you are waiting to get into the game, we decided to slowly roll out Brawl Stars country by country.
But more importantly is Mortis's hat. What happened to it? Is it coming back? Here's the answer. Mortis's hat is
That's it for this episode of Brawl Talk.
Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all the Brawl news because Brawladays is coming, Global is coming even sooner, so get out there and pre-register now to make sure you get that Star Shelly skin. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
To see it happen, Skyrix and Symantec both bring it in Surge once again. Early lead for SK Gaming as they grab that early star, but are going to be in an awkward position now. YDE looping back around. Need to get behind enemy lines and up close and personal to get value out of Jackie.
Yeah, it's going to struggle to do that when all of the brawlers on the side of SK, on the side of Tribe, have an element of range to them. So how are you going to get a melee range brawler in there without taking a ton of damage remains to be seen.
Yeah, good question. Sniper supremacy on the side of Tribe Gaming. They've taken the right side of the map this time instead of left. It's going to be important for SK Gaming to get a few pop shots off, preferably against the middle brawler there. If they can hit Symantec a time or two, that'll give YDE a chance to move in against Tom, who doesn't work well at all close range, really needs to keep his distance. He got a few great bomb shots off, though, and that's going to force SK Gaming back up into their own spawn area, still with a 1-star lead with just this last minute remaining.
Yeah, also use the force the gadget.
Here's YDE.
Here's YDE. Goes in for Tom. The head first is there. Should be able to deal with it. Spen went incredibly low on the right-hand side as well. Rocket Rain are going to catch out Tribe. Semantic being caught. Skyrix going to upgrade.
Whoa.
He's got the movement speed. He's got the added damage. We're looking for the Hexagon to seal the deal.
Shrewd Commando dominating in game number 2. All of the stars on their side of the map. A 5-0 lead, and now a really crucial moment for Tribe Gaming to make this comeback happen. They gotta submit some sort of position here, but not against Skyrix. The man diving in deep to tear apart Tom. A chance for 4 stars here. The jump is no good, but he can't escape. Skyrix at max level obliterates Symantec.
He's using the gadget so well, Woody. He's using the teleport to get up into the face of members of Tribe where they cannot escape his damage, cannot dodge away. Upgrades himself to max. Skyrix putting the team on his back and equalizing bounty.
What a performance. Take a look at this replay. We're watching Rocket Rain coming on out from Akile. The kill against Symantec, denying any access at all to Tribe. Even as Spin tried to make his way back in and get some return fire in there, he did not have any shot at making it happen. great job there, especially to Skyrix. I think he's got to be the MVP from that last round.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing so much work for SK Gaming as we get ready to go into our final round of Bounty. And the Surge is starting to deliver, as expected. A dominant, game-changing brawler, finally left unbanned and is now wreaking havoc on Canal Grand.
Ultimate power from any Surge player. Whenever the bans are off, the gloves are off, and it's a chance now for the meta to truly evolve and display itself here with these pro players. So if you have unlocked Surge and you've been looking to make use of the brand new Brawler, here is your chance to get a masterclass education on how to make that happen. Tribe Gaming and SK Gaming are now neck and neck, just as they are on the overall leaderboard. So shall they be in set number 1, tied 1-1. A little bit of an opportunity to swap out brawlers here. Would you expect to see any change, or are we going to see this once again playing out similarly to the past couple games, Drew?
I think the Surge is definitely going to be a constant. In terms of what gets packaged with the Surge, I think we could see some differences at the moment. It appears as the Tribe are going for the double thrower with the Surge, and there's a lot of stock from SK being put into the Jackie. They might want a beefier unit to try and contest that. But I'm actually going to put Spen onto the Gene and bring a Mr. P instead. So different changes I did not expect to see. And SK Gaming are actually going to go for this double thrower flavor that was being played.
Yeah, Gene and Mr. P are a popular kind of mid-range combo. Would have worked pretty well if SK Gaming had brought Jackie back, but instead going for that double thrower approach. They're going to grab that star from the middle early on, and once again, SK Gaming will be in the lead for the start of this match, but not really a commanding one just yet. Little pop shots coming off from both teams, and Semantic is going to be forced to retreat as a few early hits from Sprout are going to find purchase on this Tribe Gaming side of the map.
Slows it down, just stagnating damage as we're running down the clock for the time being. SK Gaming have much better territorial control. They're able to come a lot further forward than that of Tribe, who are very splintered as well. Tom trying to find an off angle to break through this terrain, and I'm looking to see what kind of initiation can actually take place from either of these two teams.
Yeah, they're spread at such maximum distance. We're having trouble covering the entirety of the action on screen here. Such long-range hits require a lot of practice from pro players, even at the top level here. You see them doing their best to try to get the prediction move in there, and there it goes. Skyrix knocking down Tom will give Shoot Commando the 3-0 lead early on. SK Gaming holding court on the right side of this map and not letting any... What? I thought he was going to deny, but Tom actually made it back in, and that's going to tie up the series, Truth.
Yeah, while that was going on, Semantic was able to go ahead and get in there and deal a lot of pressure, find his first upgrade, so he had that movement speed. The Porter hunting down a Cheel. Thankfully, YDE tanked those last couple of shots, otherwise the star advantage would have gone towards Tribe Gaming. Woody's coming down to this. They've locked SK into a corner, and Spence looking for the pull. He's found YDE! That's enough for Semantic to get an upgrade. 10 seconds remaining, 2 stars between them.
Incredible pull by Spen. Wonderful job for Tribe Gaming here. Take the first hit, but they came back with a counter punch that knocked out SK Gaming. The first set going to the Tribe. Great job there on those brawler comp swaps. I think that the Gene Mr. P combo worked very well for them there, and expect to see a comeback maybe even in future sets as well.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with that assessment, Woody, but 1-0 lead for Tribe Gaming, keeping their dreams alive of finishing first in this monthly final, bagging the most amount of points and potentially keeping their world final aspirations still on the card. SK Gaming getting the majority of the kills that were available in that entire round, but the right ones just came through for Tribe at the right time.
Yeah, not often do you see a team get 5 more stars in the overall count, but still lose the set overall. SK Gaming really stacking up a lot of those stars in the second game and not able to get that spread in game number 1 or 3. But we're going to be moving on now. It's going to be a 1-0 lead for Tribe, launching on into Crossroads. This heist game mode is all about busting down the safe. Do you expect to see the sort of blitz style strategy that we'd seen in past sets, or is this going to be more of the tit for tat control approach on this map, Truth?
I don't know about going for the blitz with this one. I think because there's a bunch of brawlers that are too powerful to ignore, such as Surge, that is going to dictate what's going to be played more than what we've seen in terms of a meta. Looking at what's on the board now, got the Carls, the Brocks to get range. Tom's immediately going to go down on this Max, so no value to be found there. I think we're just going to see the blitz come in from SK Gaming now they've got control, and they're just allowing YDE to get some kind of damage. Skyrix,
Oh my
knew that was going to happen, jumps over the wall and pinces in a member of Tribe, and now YDE gets a free Rocket Rain on the save for it, and a kill!
This is an extremely dangerous position for Tribe Gaming. SK have been able to set up over on the right side. YDE getting pop shots so many times. Easy artillery fire, raining down death and destruction on that save. Already at half hit points, and Tribe hasn't even gotten past the starting mark yet. Finally, Symantec breaking out, going to give a little bit more breathing room here for this Tribe Gaming team. But wow, this is really a big lead early on for SK Gaming.
These surges are going to become secondary objectives, Woody. They need to be taken out. If they're allowed to get too powerful, it's basically game over at that point as they're racing towards that final upgrade. Tom's going to use that supercharger there to just move them around faster, get them into cover. But there's no dent on the SK Gaming safe. They've had complete control of the map so far.
Big lead here, but a chance to pierce through these defenses. Symantec makes a mad dash, but it's not rewarded. Nice return fire from YDE will take him down and earn him a few more shots at the enemy safe. Look, the blue safe is taken a pummeling down into the teens now. The single digits. It's going down, Trent.
It just absolutely dismantled them. And another thing that we didn't even raise, Woody, is that with Surge, once you get to that final level and you have more shots, you're able to take indirect damage against an enemy safe so much easier. Instead of having one stray shot hit it, you have empowered damage. You can have 2 or 3 depending on distance and location of the split to deal even more damage to that safe. And that's exactly what Skyrix did as soon as he got that final upgrade online.
Awesome job to SK Gaming, both on the short range with Skyrix there and the long range shots from YDE. I think that he's probably the low-key MVP from that last round, having gotten so much damage against the enemy safe by being able to pressure early on and keeping that DPS high using the incendiary star power. He's able to get hits not only on the safe, but then continue to trickle in additional damage afterwards there, playing as like the pitch hitter for both offense and defense. I think that Brock went really far that last game.
Absolutely, and getting a lot of value out of these brawlers is what's going to take to win out and obviously go over to the World Finals towards the end of the year. Game number 2 of Bounty. No, it's not a Bounty. We just had Bounties. Going over to Heist, coming on your screens right now. Looking for these adaptations, and nothing really coming in here. Brocks, Carls, and Surges to be found, and it's the Mirror coming in for Tribe.
Yeah, a bit of an adaptation here for Tribe, and I think it was a good one at that. Spin LC having trouble keeping pace over on the left side there, though. Akile pushing him back, and it's going to force a teleport there from Symantec to help deal with that. Nice long-range blow, though, from Spin. It's going to keep them back in the pace here. Spin fires away at the safe, and it's going to get it down into the 80s. Early lead for Tribe Gaming, but can they hold on to it? YDE is doing just about as much damage on the other side. These Brocks have got to be stopped. So much long-range damage, and it's hard to deny them access. It's going to be up to Tom now to try to return fire as Carl over here on the right side, forcing back that Brock and giving Tribe Gaming a little bit of breathing room, but they're down overall in damage by 20%, True.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Semantic's going to go aggressive onto Fachil, get that upgrade after teleporting. There's the final stack for Skyrix. And now he can enter into his own and get damage onto this safe. The Surges have been having such a great time on this map, Woody, because they've been able to teleport over this dividing wall.
Oh, wow, that Symantec hit is going to be hurting them for a long time. Tribe Gaming trying to defend, but a max-level Skyrix has been firing away and is hard to push back. Another win out here on the left side for Shroot Commando as SK Gaming's charge into the bottom safe is looking great. 6 times damage coming out from that shot from Skyrix, and it is really starting to stack up on that safe now. Over twice as much damage dealt by SK Gaming, and they're continuing to apply even more pressure here. Symantec struggling just to get out of his own spawn zone. All right, they're going to continue defending here along the bottom as SK Gaming have kept the pressure up, taking them down into the single digits now. A few more rockets from YDE would be enough, and Brock would be able to knock him down. Can they get those last few shots on the safe? Skyrix going to make a last charge in. There it is! Incendiary Ticks finished that thing off, and the safe has been burnt down. SK Gaming tie it up 1-1, and it's going to be an even set score going into the 3rd round. Take a look at that replay now as you see shots going off from Brox on both sides, going for both brawler kills when they need it and dumping damage into the safe as soon as they possibly get a chance. Perfect range set up by Brox on either side, but advantage for SK as they found that opening much earlier on. The scoreline says everything you need to know there. So many more kills from SK Gaming in that last set relative to Tribe's performance. It was all about mid control and the long range shots and perfect aim from SK, giving them the win there to tie it up. We're doing our best to get a co-caster back on the line, but for now, it's just going to be me queuing up for set number 3. We've got under a minute for these players to pick out their next brawlers and get the action going. Let us know in Twitch chat which team you're cheering for, YouTube chat, Facebook chat, wherever you may be, because the fans are what drive these players forward and get them energized for the next round of action. Remember, if you want to be a competitor in the Brawl Stars Championship, there's still open qualifiers and a chance to make it to the very top. Find your team of 3 and try to get those wins in the in-game challenge. But with that, we're going to be hopping in now. The next one is already underway. It's going to be a gym grab map. Center control is what you've got to work hardest for here. Trying to get an early setup in that mid-range is very important. 2 Pams on the field right now, 1 for each team, and a Poco as well on the bottom side for Tribe. That's going to be a lot of healing and massive survivability advantage for the team that can keep those supers available and ready for use. SK Gaming continuing to charge up through the center here. A little bit of a gym advantage for them as Skyrix continues to power up, but it's YDE who's going to be carrying most of them out the back. Pam, a really great gym carrier for this map because of how many hit points she has, the long range and short range damage burst that she can push out, and that super, of course, which can get her topped off and healthy once again. It's going to be some sneaky action along the edges, though, as Sven and Tom do their best to hide in the bushes along the outer side, relying on that pinching opportunity to try to find SK Gaming out of position. Whitey's taking a lot of shots, but he's playing very smart here, not committing too hard to pushing into the interior, and he certainly doesn't have to. With such a big gem lead, there's no need to push too hard. Skyrix grabbing another gem here and there where he can get the chance, but Whitey's finding a lot of trouble now. Lots of damage being dished out onto him, and that healing turret's not going to be enough to keep him topped off. Having to pull back, but trying to stay as best he can within that healing turret range for maximum effect. They only need to get 1 more gem, though, and that would be enough to start the countdown. It's coming in shortly. Can Sure Commando get this game off to a good start? They've done it. A kill against Aquila is going to get the gems that they needed. 14 on the side for the red squad up top, and that is going to get the countdown underway. Really difficult charge here for Tribe Gaming to try to get that ended. They would have to get a kill on either YDE or Skyrix, but they aren't even going for him at this point. Aquila up on the right side, providing that distraction that they needed and getting SK Gaming the lead for game number 1. Take a look at the replay now as you saw an early lead for SK Gaming cement as the match went on. We needed a really big push from Tribe in order to counteract that big advantage that YDE was able to generate in the early game. And without any big strike in there, it was just a snowball turning into an avalanche for SK Gaming, giving them the win that they were looking for, and looking to claim a lead now going into the second game of this third set. Down in set number 1, but not out by any means at all. Tribe Gaming, having picked up the win in the first match, are now struggling to keep pace against an SK Gaming squad looking to hold their spot on this leaderboard. Remember, these two teams are neck and neck within 10 points of each other, and the outcome of this match here and now could determine which team goes on to the World Finals and which team is going to be forced to sit from the sidelines. SK Gaming grabbing an early lead once again here as YDE makes a beeline right to the center of the arena and grabs 3 early gems. Spin LC is not going to let up pressure, though. The only challenger for center control here as Tom and Semantic are doing their best along the outer edges to regain position, but can't get their hit point totals up. Finally, Semantic is able to get that super up and try to recharge his blast in the center, but really taking a lot of damage, unable to catch up so far, Trid.
Yeah, and the healing stations are going to be in there to make sure everyone's reinvigorated. We see the surges are getting towards those upper limits of their power right now, particularly Spen, who's taking over the responsibility from Semantic. to try and lay down this damage instead. And still, they're unable to crack YDE, who's walking forwards with the PAM, able to pick up the 7 gems and keep that significant lead that SK Gaming's got.
Doing their best to hold on to it, and they're doing a great job so far. SK Gaming not gonna overcommit at any point. YDE plays this so smart. He might be the best gem carrier in all the matches that we've seen so far today, applying a lot of pressure and staying hard in the middle when he knows he's got the advantage, but then pulling back and waiting for his teammates to help back him up when he knows he needs a little bit more oomph to make it back into the center. Spin LC gathering gems now, but still behind an SK Gaming squad. Even with the kill that they picked up right there, that's still going to be a lead for SK Gaming. They just need to make it back in and grab a couple more gems to get that countdown started.
Oh, hopefully they can find that success that they need in this one, as they're going to be setting back up in the middle. 8 gems apiece right now, so it's coming down to the wire for these two teams. Does mean that they'll need to fight decisive win and to scoop up those gems. Otherwise, this is going to end up being stagnated by the spawn rate. So they're going to go ahead and trade out their countdowns. That's going to be the first one coming in for SK Gaming. They need to control mid. Otherwise, they're going to give control over. That's what's coming in. Oh, it's not looking good. SK Gaming, if they can just find Spen, they will seal the deal. And they've done just enough. SK Gaming going to take set number 2.
The triple kill from SK Gaming, knocking down Tom Semantic and Spin LC one after another. The tic-tac-toe crossed off the map, and SK will move on with an advancement, now 2-1 advantage in this match overall, and Tribe have really got a comeback swinging in set number 4 to push back against an SK Gaming squad that seems to be making the best use of Surge so far today, finally having not been banned, a chance to make this new brawler come into action, and we have not been let down by their performance so far, Trib.
Absolutely not, Woody. SK Gaming have wrestled control of the momentum of this series. They've had great use of a new released brawler that a lot of the players consider high value, high priority. So having that one sneak through has been absolutely great for them. Damage difference quite negligible, but it's the kills where SK start to really accelerate forwards.
Yeah, anytime you can grab kills, especially in heist or gem grab, they're not going to go all the way to counting for the win, but they give you that control that you need to establish your position on the map, and very important when one kill could really make all the difference between grabbing that objective or losing control of the field. But let's move into set number 4 now. We're going to be playing in Backyard Bowl, a lot of open area in the middle of this map, so expect to see long-range brawlers coming to the fore, trying to establish supremacy to get early control of the ball and go in for the goal. But this map really speaks to me as being one that doesn't get decided until overtime. It's very difficult to get an early goal without a team wipe, and that rarely happens at high-level play. Brawlers typically go in for the safe mode early on and hiding behind those boxes, just trying to push for field control rather than going hard in on the commit to make a goal happen.
Yeah, it just becomes that slow war of attrition, slowly gain the territory, and every time you get that man advantage, you convert it into territory until you get to that goal line where it can realistically become a goal. We saw earlier some teams using brawlers like Max to accelerate that fact and just go super ham at times, but for the most part, Woody, you're absolutely right. Brawl does ironically become quite a slow game.
Slow to start, but it is definitely one of the games that can turn around and become a blitz of speed, especially because it's just one goal that separates you from victory and defeat. You know, in a heist game mode or a gem grab, you can kind of get a little bit of an edge here and there, dealing a few more points of damage or grabbing another gem here and there. But it really is a high pressure, high excitement moment when there's an opportunity to take that ball past the goal line. When a team commits to that sort of aggressive push, they often either get rewarded with that ultimate victory or are completely annihilated, wiped back, and have to play defense against a squad looking hard for revenge.
As expected, Surges are on the field. The only difference between the compositions is there are Piper in favor of SK Gaming, and it's the Mr. P for Tribe.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Mr. P can work out well here. He does have that handle with Kara Star Power, so that's going to allow him to get a little additional bounces, even when that briefcase doesn't hit anything. Really crucial to keep long-range damage up against YDE, whose Pam has just been so dominant in Gym Grab and now in Brawl Ball. Kills on either side of the map as those two surges will trade into each other, but an advantage for SK Gaming. And with that Piper super are going to be able to knock down that first line of defense, an easy open shot at goal if they can get close enough now.
So that was quite an interesting interaction between both of these surges. They both managed to get their super online, died with super in possession, then triggered the upgrade as soon as they spawned just to not lose the power progression that they'd already started. So they're both going to start with this enhanced movement speed onto the right-hand side. But we're paying attention towards the mid right now as Achille getting a lot of attention from Tom and Semantic. The ball is just locked in this left-hand side, Woody, and no one's making any real progress with that.
Yeah, it's kind of the same story for the first minute of play as we've seen now for the second stage. Even though SK Gaming got a little bit of an early advantage being able to pop down those boxes, they haven't been able to leverage it at all yet, not getting ball possession and kind of having a lot of difficulty pushing into Semantic with that healing turret up, and Tom, lots of long-range damage and healing to top themselves back up even if they do take a shot. Nice job there to Piper. Akil being able to bust those boxes down means that healing station isn't going to be alive long, but with only 30 seconds until overtime, we're about to see this game play out much like others have just before it. Once those boxes come down, the field will open up and give a big advantage to whichever team can get those kills early on. It's looking like SK Gaming might be able to finish this off.
And they're not taking it to chance, Woody.
It's good!
They are not going to leave it to the chance of overtime. They got the aggression, so they're going to get that goal in and give themselves that early goal lead. Upgrades coming in for Skyrix, 2 low members of the team, but there's nothing that Tribe could do about it. Hang on a minute, Spence found that kill, shut down by YD. That'll seal the deal. SK Gaming take game number 1.
Excellent job to SK Gaming, now putting themselves in position for that match point. Just one more goal could be between them and World Finals qualification. These two teams have been competing for so many months now, jockeying for that spot at the top of the leaderboard, but SK Gaming seems to be the one dominant right now with the advantage on set score and with the last win on Brawl Ball. Tribe Gaming have got to be rallied right now. This is their last chance. Do SK Gaming fear the Tribe, or will fear be the only thing that they have to be afraid of?
I'm afraid of Surge. If you hadn't told by the amount of times I'm talking about this brawler, because it is so dominant right now. And yeah, I can only resonate what you said. This is World Finals qualification on the line. These two teams are in a race, and if SK Gaming takes the first victory here, it does not look good for Tribe. In terms of their qualification hopes, there are limited slots per region. It doesn't matter the relative strength of Europe to other regions. We're only sending 3. 3 of you will go through, and that is it. So you need to be in that top 3. Tribe currently aren't, SK stand in the way, and they're still blocking them to this day.
Code Magic Purple high and dry above these other teams will definitely be able to qualify. And of course, we also know that Clash EU have got more points than either SK Gaming or Tribe Gaming. Even with a victory this month, they wouldn't be able to catch up to Clash. In later months, they would have a chance to advance on. But right now, the positioning for third place is between SK Gaming and Tribe Gaming, and with only 3 qualification spots for Worlds, it's now or never for Tribe. Turn on the firepower and don't let up. Tom is going to be bringing in, who's that? Nani?
Nani? He's going to be here, ready to use it. Very powerful brawler. We'll have use of that super that will be able to hunt down the likes of Achille, more than likely, or maybe pick off Skyrix if he goes aggressive to get that upgrade on Surge. Ball's very stagnant. No one's touched it so far. Achille walks forward, tags the shot against Tom, and passes the ball into their court.
Tom's going to use that super long-range firepower dropped on that healing station. Big hits there, but not able to knock it quite down yet. 28 hit points separated from destruction. There it goes, out for the count. SK Gaming still trying their best to set up against a Tribe squad that has done a much better job this second game at keeping pace and holding the midfield there. Box is going down as soon as we can get a super charged up, but it looks like Tribe is playing the long game right now, not making an aggressive stab in there. Akile trying to get that super charged so that he can knock down some enemy boxes, but not finding an inroad to do so yet, Trid.
if Tom gets this super online and one of his other teammates gets a super pass available, there are some really sneaky things you could do with the gadget for Nani and get him into these awkward positions where he's behind enemy lines with a pass that's bounced off a wall into safety. But the pressure coming in from SK is too big right now. They're unable to get anything done.
SK Gaming playing carefully, but keep in mind that the surges will get even stronger and stronger as the game progresses. Skyrix at a higher promotional level right now based on the damage he's been able to dish out, and that's going to be an opportunity for them to deliver the final blow. Nice hit there for Akili, able to knock those boxes down, but not quite as big of an opening as he might have been able to hope for. Still, it's going to be an advantage for SK Gaming as all three brawlers up on their side are fighting in against two from Tribe. Semantic goes down, and that's going to be another big opening for SK Gaming. Can they keep the pressure up, knock down all those boxes, but possession has been denied. Kicked back into the corner. Tribe Gaming will still barely survive a bit longer here. Tom's going to pop that super and deny access, and wow, what a great super that was. Another chance for SK Gaming to get the goal pass, or the ball past the goal line has been rejected, and we are once again at an even playing field.
Spen's going to go down. Skyrix has been sitting at max power on the surge for so long, and it's causing so many problems for the roster of Tribe Gaming.
Oh my God.
Trying to trade out a kill. Here comes the super from Nani. He's not going to find it. Healing station is there. Skyrix is boxing Tom into the spawn, and Spen's going to try and level up, but I don't know how long he can keep hold of this one. They're not letting Tribe escape, and if they get some kills, they're going to go on the offensive.
Nani is such an all-or-nothing brawler who can deal a ton of damage or whiff completely on those shots. He's doing well at keeping Skyrix at range, but Skyrix has done just as much to deny him the ability to get out past the goal line. Super coming out now from Nani, gonna try to find a target. Blows up and misses. Defense for SK Gaming will hold on, and it's gonna be their final charge in. The rampaging robots are sending the damage past. Akili takes the shot, misses. Semantic sends it back. Kicks it in! SK Gaming win the match!
They just sat outside there. The damage from Skyrix was too strong. He's able to burn through the respawns faster than they can come in, Woody. And SK Gaming are able to come back and win the match with a 3-1 scoreline.
The match of the day when everything counted. SK Gaming would not be denied that epic win. Tribe Gaming playing so valiantly, picking up a fantastic match victory early on against Code Magic, but unable to keep that momentum carried into this second match. We once again have an interesting spot here where it's a potential for that three-way tie if we have a Code Magic win against SK Gaming in the match to follow. But let's pick it off with Falcone, who's ready to queue up the next one.
In what is probably the most important result of the entire year of Brawl Stars esports so far.
We are back from our summer break and ready for the update, right, Danny?
That is correct, my human friend Paula.
What's that?
Meet Dannytron 3000, a genius robot I developed myself, capable of presenting any update.
Correct.
I see. Good job, Danny.
And welcome to Brawl Talk. I'll be back.
Back to the Wild West, but not entirely.
We introduce you to the Robot Factory, the home of all those crazy robots you see in Star Park.
It's also a perfect link to our newest chromatic brawler, Sam.
He's the second member of Belle's trio and literally her partner in crime. He also has some personal beef with all the robots in Star Park.
His playstyle feels very unique to Brawl. When equipped with his Knuckle Busters, he does a stronger close-range attack that can hit multiple enemies at the same time. When he doesn't have them, his attacks are not as powerful, but they are faster.
And while he has his Knuckle Busters, his super bar is always full, meaning he's the first brawler who already starts with his super available.
Activating his super with his Knuckle Busters on will throw them and will damage everything on their way. He also gets a temporary speed buff. Activating the super again will then call his Knuckle Busters back to his arms and damage everything on their way back.
While Sun doesn't have his weapon, he'll have to charge his super in the normal way, by hitting his attacks. Or he can collect his Knuckle Buster again.
Sam will get the Caesar Sam skin at the last tier of the Brawl Pass.
And the first king of the Brawl Pass is Desperado Pope.
Completing the Calamity Gang will have Lawless Lola as the Power League skin and Crowbone for gems.
We will also be getting Moon Bunny Squeak for the Moon Festival in Asia, Stone's Pen, it will make sense, I promise, and Mecha Mortis, our newest 299 gems king with custom voiceover and visual effects. And if you get him on release month, you'll get his spray, profile picture, and a whole set of his pins for free. Also, it will unlock 2 color variations in the shop for 49 gems each.
And lastly, Trick or Treat Leon, which will be available around Halloween. We'll have other skins for Halloween, but they will come in a different update.
And speaking of skins, all the robots got finally remodeled. They are a lot more polished, shiny, and brawly. We'll be getting another awesome 3D animation feature Pan and 8-bit, and to celebrate that, we'll be getting a new PvE mode.
In this mode, you must keep 8-bit alive by collecting coins across the map and protecting him from the waves of bots. If 8-bit is defeated, you lose the game. If you and 8-bit survive until the end, you win.
In this mode, 8-bit will be walking around and doing some work, so we'll be in a team of 4.
But also make sure you always have him in your sight.
You can swap brawlers in Power League. At the preparation screen, you can either request or receive a request to swap a brawler, and if everything looks great, you can accept it.
That could be a really good idea to secure a good brawler first, or if they are just better than you with that brawler.
We'll have a second brawler which will be released later in September.
Gus is a very weird kid in his PJs and looks like he hasn't touched grass for a while.
But besides his catchy vibes, Gus is actually a support brawler with the ability to heal and protect allies.
For every attack Gus hits, he charges a new bar. Once this bar is full, the next attack you hit will drop a ghost in the map. If your allies touch this ghost, they will heal. You can drop multiple ghosts in the map.
With his super, he's able to cast a shield either on his allies or on himself. To cast it on allies, you should aim and hit your shot. To use it on yourself, you just tap the super button as if you would be auto-aiming.
And great news, if you look forward to unlocking him, he will be super rare, which is quite easy to find in boxes. Trophy reset is getting longer. It's now every 8 weeks in line with the Brawl Pass seasons.
We are partnering with some awesome esport teams, and you'll be able to support them too by getting their profile picture or pins from the shop.
New challenges and quests with new sprays and profile pictures as rewards.
The Robot Factory environment is also available in Showdown.
New gadgets for Buzz and Grief.
Gears price reduction.
And a message from the future. We managed to travel in time and get Frank from the future to tell you a bit more about what we have planned for Brawl Stars in the future.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Wait, that's from the past. Sorry, Frank. So, we're all aware that we have some players who are concerned about the future. What do you have for the community?
Well, for the last few months, we've focused on designing and building our high-level roadmap for the future. And this is the first time ever we are talking about our future plans with you, our players. Why are we doing this? We feel there's a disconnect between you and us, and we'd like to resolve it.
So let's talk about the next update.
To get this out of the way, yes, we are going to rework Gears. We didn't plan to make changes to the system this year, but we understand your feelings and frustrations about it, and we share most of them. Consequently, we decided to prioritize this and push back other changes. In fact, we're going to make some changes already in this update. We'll reduce the cost to craft gears and gear levels by about 50% in the coming update by reducing the amount of required scrap and tokens.
So, should we talk about October a little bit?
We're going to simplify the flow on how you acquire gears and decrease their cost. And at the same time, we're going to introduce additional, more specific gears, which won't be usable for all the brawlers.
And can we talk about what happens to existing gears?
We're pretty much hitting the reset button for gears and will reimburse all existing scrap, gear tokens, and already crafted gears to you. This will happen in coins, and coins will play a much bigger role in how to unlock gears in the future. This essentially allows you a full respec for gears once the October update arrived. Refunds will be based on the total amount of scrap and gear tokens you've collected since we've introduced them last year.
Cool, and there is more, right?
Why, Paula? Yes. We're also reworking the existing PvE weekend modes. We ultimately don't believe they are fun anymore, and we're going to replace them with a new, more dynamic PvE system, which will introduce new features including multiple stages, persistent power-ups, different environments, and new types of enemies and bosses. Almost like a place where we'll be able to tell a story in the future.
We also have plans beyond October.
That's right. The timeline becomes a bit more uncertain at this point. However, there are a few bigger topics we would like to tackle. And the first one is affecting the current progression system and its reliance on luck in order to unlock brawlers. We would like you to have more say in which brawlers you unlock and when, as well as which brawlers you would like to upgrade. These changes have a huge impact on how Brawl is played and will give every player a clear goal in the game. We'd like to get these changes into your hands as fast as possible.
And there are more things the team is working on.
Yes, we would like to make it more meaningful to improve playing certain brawlers. The concept of mastery. Think clearer goals, rewards, you get it. Additional items on our current list of things to do are matchmaking, a better sense of collecting cosmetics and more ways for you to show them off, as well as tools for you to share cool moments in the game on social media directly from within the game. We'd also like to introduce ways for you to recruit your friends, and yes, in parallel we've started working on a system to report other players for things like grief play. We're likely going to roll this one out rather sooner than later and start the process of collecting data and get a sense of the volume of reports.
This isn't a complete list of everything we'll do, but these are the topics currently taking the majority of our focus. You can learn more about upcoming features as usual here in Brawl Talk.
And with this, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you in October.
And giveaways. Yes, the Brawl Stars creators will be giving away Moon Bunny Squeak. So search for hashtag Bunny Squeak giveaway here on YouTube or any social media and read the rules to participate in the giveaway hosted by the Brawl content creators.
And this isn't a list. What's wrong with me? I did it perfectly before. I remember.
And if everything looks great for you, you can it's supernatural.
That's right. Hasta la vista, baby. I'm better than Danny at everything.
R2, D2 sounds. Should I do it? Yeah, sure.
So far, SK Gaming have taken down Tribe. Our MVP for this match is going to be Skyrix, who played, who'd have thought, Surge every single game. And I think Trid worded this the most nicely right at the beginning when he said, putting the team on his back, Skyrix annihilated the opposition in Bounty. He was able to continue that going in Heist by taking down the enemy Surge several times, suppressing that Surge's level, and guaranteeing SKG had the strongest team at all times. In Gem Grab, he continued to dominate with Surge. The advantage that you get when you're Surge level 4 and the other team Surge is stuck at level 1 is disgusting. And then, even in Brawl Ball, where your Surge resets between each goal, Skyrix was still able to dominate using Surge's sheer range and splash damage. Surge is very powerful, but even more powerful right now, SK Gaming sitting on a 1-0 score. And now this is where things get really interesting, because if SK Gaming take down Code Magic Purple, they get so many points today, and so despite not qualifying for the next monthly finals, they are in with a reasonable shot at hitting Worlds, as opposed to Tribe, who, if they did win this, they were looking really, really good, but now they're going to have a lot of work to do over the next couple months. We got Code Magic Purple, we got SK Gaming coming up, Curse, Jetson, Twisty Twix on Bentley, YDE, Skyrix, and Achille for SK Gaming. This is another important match for SK Gaming. If they can keep the momentum going, they're in a fantastic spot when it comes to points for Worlds. Of course, though, when it comes to points for Worlds, Code Magic Purple have already done it. They have guaranteed themselves a spot at the global finals. They're able to mostly take it easy. They don't have a huge amount of pressure. The same amount that the other teams do, at least. However, they are still competing for a lot of prize money, and they're also competing for honor and for tournament integrity. So I think it's safe to say that SK have got a major challenge coming up in the next match. But let's talk about SK. Again, this is one of their final chances to make a stand. They will not be competing in the September monthly finals, so today's score really counts. They're already 1-0, they've already taken down Tribe. Can they keep this momentum going? Maybe it's not so much of a big deal for Ulysses, though, who claimed that he has no plans for what to do with his prize money if he wins. That's either a lack of confidence or a lack of planning. I'm gonna go with a lack of planning. Let's put their confidence to the test in the final match of the day.
Thank you very much, Falcone. And now it is all to play for. SK Gaming, it seems today, have had a fantastic start so far, and they've got to continue this in to their onslaught on Code Magic Purple. But we're not going to be seeing Surge. He is off the cards, as is Gale. What do you make of that, Woody?
I think Code Magic Purple learned what happens when SK Gaming has access to Surge, and they did not want to see that same result happen to them. Resounding cheers throughout the SK Gaming house as they pick up that victory in match number 2 within this region and are looking to echo back-to-back victories against Code Magic Purple and really claim the leading position within Europe. As we mentioned already, Code Magic Purple have already qualified for World Finals, but there's still the question as to which team is going to be up at the top and making their way for Worlds as the dominant team in the region. Clearly, Code Magic Purple have got a lot riding on this match if they want to stay in the lead.
Yeah, and you say cheers in the SK Gaming house, quite literally in the SK Gaming house. The players have flown out to be together again this month round to compete alongside each other physically. So I guess that is giving them a great advantage in terms of their morale and their communication. And we're seeing that today so far. The question now is it going to continue up against the might of Code Magic Purple?
Yeah, you know, anyone can enter into these competitions, but it's the teams that are willing to commit the most to practice, to sticking together, to keeping that high level of communication amongst all of them that are going to emerge with the bigger advantage going through these games. So far, that's been SK Gaming delivering an awesome performance in the early stage of that match and starting off with a decent lead here early on, slipping up to Code Magic Purple a little bit here as Jetton has been able to reclaim control of the center. It's still a neck-and-neck match, but as those plants grow out on the right side, YDE is going to be even better positioned to defend and deny access to Cursed.
Yeah, Wiley's doing a great job on that right-hand side, very well pointed out, of just exploring with that gadget the entirety of this map. Wiley's able to move so freely here. The only thing to his disadvantage are those pesky porters there that are going to be seeking him out. Jetton's super will be looking to reveal Wiley as much as possible, and it does seem like the pressure is on now, and Code Magic Purple have lost control of the mid, and Skyrax still on 9 gems now. SK getting very close to countdown here.
Poor Cursed walked right into a Rosa who souped up and wiped him off of the planet. Skyrax with 10 gems down has got that countdown started, and it looks like YDE's defense out on the right side is a brick wall, unable to penetrate past. SK Gaming have got this game in the bag.
A solid start. I really like the comp. I keep saying that Rose is so viable, and we haven't seen that much of her, to be completely honest, but they see why it can be so strong when you can just kind of put yourself into a corner and just be healing all the while whilst remaining invisible. I think she's a really underrated brawler right now, but yeah, SK Gaming showing us how it's done.
Flower Power hiding deep in the weeds and keeping those bushes up as best she can to get additional coverage. Carl doesn't work too well in a short-range combat against Rosa. In fact, very few brawlers worked well against Rosa in the short range, so great job. They are keeping control of the right side of the map. I think that's where most of the action wound up playing out, and even with those robo borders ticking in unrelentingly against that Rosa, she was still able to keep control and deny access to the enemy team. So great job SK Gaming off that first game. Do you expect to see any brawler comp switches here going into game number 2, Ark?
This is the thing. At the moment, it depends on how Code Magic Purple see this, because if Frank could demolish all of those bushes and the cover on those corners of the middle area as well, and we know that Jetton is actually a very accomplished Frank. He was one of the first, he was actually, I'll quote myself, the first Frank to 1,000 trophies in the world, because I helped him push to it. So he's very, very good at those sort of brawlers which kind of get close and personal. So whether he'll go against the meta a little bit here, we'll have to wait and see, but I think it might prove to be daring in this circumstance to kind of shut down Whitey, but Whitey could change Brawler altogether, and it looks like he has done just that.
Yeah, switching out to Pam. We saw him play Pam so many times in the last match, and it worked really well for him. Playing for field control works really well with so many hit points and a super that can keep you juiced up and ready to go. Competing in this middle range, it looks like they're going to get an additional kill here. Jetton going down, and an aggressive play from Sun Bentley is going to be rewarded here. Grabs a couple of gems, but he's got a Robo Porter wailing away at him. Needs some more support, and that's going to be up to Jetton to move in to get that help in.
I gotta say, I do like the bow pick here though, because having that additional ability to not just only destroy bushes, SK have gone with the Tara approach to basically reveal brawlers with that gadget that are lying within the bushes. Jetton's going straight with an area of damage from those mines, which will actually penetrate the walls as well as the bushes. And that, again, that tripwire gadget that's new to the game, so fresh in our minds, can be popped at any moment, destroying all mines simultaneously. So I really like this bow pick, I've got to say.
And great strafing by Jetton as well, ensuring that all three of those hits land every single chance he gets. Super crucial to maximize your damage as Bo, to be moving in the right direction as those shots go off. But still, SK Gaming have been able to keep the pressure up against the Code Magic squad, that even when the things all seem to go right for them, they haven't been able to pick up ahead. Finally, Curse gets an epic super off that will tie things up, but even with that big swing in favor back toward Code Magic Purple, it's not a decisive lead for them by any means.
Yeah, Curse getting gems is very relevant here, but the gems are split between both him and Sun, and at the moment, Ashil is looking to get his super back, and once he has that super, like now, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Code Magic Purple and where they go on the map, because Ashil can lock down the center now. He can really, really just bend Code Magic Purple to his will here, and that's why we're seeing Sun having to go behind to try to get something that he's going to go down.
Oh, nasty!
Dropping gems is devastating, and SK Gaming will capitalize.
It seemed like there was some miscommunication among Code Magic. We saw a really daring dive there from Sun Bentley, but without any backup from either of his two teammates, there was very little chance for that to work off. The countdown continues, and all 10 gems still firmly in the grasp of Skyrix. That's going to be an advantage for SK Gaming through game number 2 and taking the first set.
Yeah, and for me, that was a lot down to Ashil. I think Ashil, I've got to say as well, has been playing fantastically well in qualifiers. He is at the top of his game right now, and having that super, but not actually needing to use it, kind of encouraged that move and that kind of like odd brawler placement from Code Magic Purple. And yeah, Sun got called out in that spawn side, and what a great start for SK Gaming.
Excellent job. Really bodes well for them going into the second set of this match. I wonder what is going on with Code Magic Purple this month, a team that's been at the top of the leaderboard for a long time, but seems to have not been able to adapt to recent changes in the meta, or are they just not as practicing as much as these other squads? What's going on here?
The teams are definitely practicing. I know that Curse has been playing a lot of ladder with Tribe, with Spen from Tribe. Super Stadium up next, Brawl Ball. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams do here. For me, I think it comes down to different teams respond differently to pressure. Like, pressure can do odd things. It can kind of actually make you rise to the occasion. And that adrenaline rush and that additional, what's at stake can come into play. And I feel like because Code Magic Purple have qualified now, it's kind of like they haven't really got that, which seems to have been their friend throughout this entire tournament, and that might be the thing today, which gives SK Gaming a chance to really kind of rise and prove themselves, as at the moment they've got a bit of a battle on their hands. It's a bit uphill, but this is a great start for them. This could be actually the start of them being able to secure really their place in the final 3.
That's a good point, I guess. Heavy hangs the crown, and the sword of Damocles hanging above Code Magic Purple has really given them a lot to think about. And instead of focusing on the game, they're focused on that. And what has happened already? Skyrix from SK Gaming has just drilled past the last line of defense and found an optimal angle for the first goal.
As quickly as that, we're seeing now a very different result. And a quick pass was just surely a walk in here. There's not really anything that Magic Purple can do. And as quick as the first set is decided, the first game of Brawl is decided.
Not even a minute of overall gameplay, and already 2 goals sit past the line. Skyrix and Akil just dominating the competition. Really low hit point brawlers selected by Magic Purple, and that gave an easy entry point for SK Gaming. The sponge of Frank just soaking all those shots as he walks straight past this Max and delivers the second goal, only seconds after the first.
Yeah, I've got to say, like, we do see this often. When a Frank comes to the table, it's always a bit of a kind of a shock brawler pick. And it often, I would say, if you looked at the stats, and I could be completely wrong, but from my eyes, it seems like every time a Frank just kind of comes up out of nowhere, there's a win. And then the next round, the Frank kind of disappears, but the win obviously remains, and like everything kind of goes back to normal after that. So an interesting start. Whether we'll see Frank appear again, I'm not so sure.
That's what I love most about Brawl Stars. There's so many different brawlers to choose from that if you get complacent with one certain plan of attack, your opponents can really throw a wrench in that and in very short order surprise you, even with a relatively low pick rate and even a low win rate brawler. Someone like Mortis that we didn't see at all, and then he went on a massive tear with like 7 wins in a row before finally kind of equalizing again. We see the similar sort of move here now with Frank, a really high hit point brawler who stays up so long, taking shots after shots and giving a great opportunity for the rest of the team to kind of tank those blows and continue fighting. We're going to actually see Cursed saying, you know what, let's fight fire with fire. I'm sitting in Frank as well.
Yeah, I love to see it. Frank versus Frank, and it's now it's actually Magic Purple almost had a good opportunity there in the knockback. They're so important to deflate that push. She'll go, it doesn't quite connect. But now Skyrix with a heal. Surely now nothing Sun can do. Tickling the Primo as Skyrix walks in the goal.
Primo, as we've seen before, is a bit of an unconventional pick, but when you have so many tanky brawlers and you need someone who can stay up long enough and dish out a maximum amount of short-range melee damage, Primo can be the perfect option to go for here. Akil is struggling to get those supers to land on Sun Bentley and Jetton, who are doing an excellent job jockeying around the map, but a goal early for SK Gaming means that they just have to play defense if they really want to for the rest of the match.
It's a pretty solid pinch at the moment. Magic Purple looking to try and make something of this opportunity, but Skyrix does have super, and we've seen Semantic already playing Primo so effectively cycling today, and now Skyrix is doing exactly the same thing. Shut down finally by Jetton, but what can happen from this with Curse being so low, and now Sun alone, I think, yeah, Sun's not going to be able to do much here.
It seemed like he was kind of split. At first, he wanted to go for the goal, trying to grab that ball from the corner, but then realized that both of the enemies would die with just a couple of shots. And with long-range damage that spreads out so far, Poco is great at dealing those final blows. But because he was a little bit indecisive early on, he missed out on the chance to either take the shot or get the kill and was forced back. Defense now for SK Gaming as they continue to try to keep this Co-Magic team off, but will he be able to do it? Jetton goes for the pass, sends it past. There it is, the equalizer for Co-Magic Purple.
Finally able to make something of it, and that is a good time to do it. 30 seconds. Curse go for a shot. Oh! Straight off the middle line. What a distance to score from Magic Purple.
The long bomb with back-to-back goals. SK Gaming made a strategic error there by playing defense instead of just playing to their advantage, pushing in hard and heavy against a Magic Purple team that seemed to just be out of position when they needed it most. But with that opportunity to strike and without any fear of reprisal, Magic Purple with impunity charge into the action and get those 2 goals back-to-back. A well-deserved comeback from a squad that seems to be shaken but not stirred.
Yeah, absolutely could not have put it better. I've got to say, I do love those moments where one teammate just spots an opportunity and just kind of like, it's that slight moment where the opposition just dropped the ball, no pun intended, and, and what a great moment for Magic Purple to come back now in this series of Brawl Ball. And now I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen with the brawler picks, because we started with Frank, then we matched the Frank, and now we're just going to see no Frank.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I thought that the El Primo pick by SK Gaming there was the perfect counter in expectation of a really heavy tank from their opponents, but it didn't work out. When the rubber meets the road, even with a good pick, it might not be enough to claim victory if your opponents can outplay you on the field. I think Code Magic Purple certainly outplayed SK Gaming there. It wasn't necessarily a comp pick that went in their favor. I think SK Gaming actually had the better comp that last round, and it showed with the first goal that they were able to score. But that can all change in a very short amount of time, just the same way SK Gaming got the victory in the game one with 2 goals in like 30 seconds. I think Code Magic Purple took that same game plan and made it happen. So it's all going to come down to game number 3 starting right now, the tiebreaker for the second set.
Yeah, the Franks are not going anywhere. The Jackies are not going anywhere. The Pokos are not going anywhere. Mirror comp alert. It's going to be the Slambulance and an identical Slambulance for both of these teams now. Why though? I guess the Super Sun low. Actually, Code Magic Purple needs to be a bit cautious here. Jason going to make the first move. Gets the ball here from Sun. Can he make it? Oh! Almost a tiny slip there. And now SK Gaming will be much on the retreat.
SK Gaming should not even be alive right now. That was all thanks to a misclick from Jet not getting that aim perfectly the way he needed it. That could have easily been a goal, but as it stands, SK Gaming are still in the action, juking it out in the center for ultimate control, and they've done it. A double kill there, and as those Frank Supers go off, it's a chance for SK Gaming to score. All down for the count. There's no defense whatsoever for Code Magic Purple, and SK get the first goal.
Yeah, a nice pass to the wall there from Skyrex to get that takedown. And now this is a great position. Curse with a very good observation with the gadget used there to cancel out the stun. But the ball is cleared by SK Gaming. And now Sun is being hunted down by all 3 members of SK Gaming who smell blood.
It's Solar Eclipse through Sun. Bentley just absolutely denied access into the bottom of that enemy base. So many shots coming off from SK and delivering the final goal for this game. They're going to grab the 2-0 set advantage now. That third game went exactly as planned for SK, much like the first, in smashing success in very short order, picking up a 2-0 against a Code Magic Purple team that were just collapsing, buckling in on themselves with so much splash damage dished out by Poco and Frank.
SK Gaming seem unstoppable at this moment. I've got to say, it's been a while really since I can recall it being just an all-round fantastic day for SK Gaming. They've been consistent with the points nonetheless, but to have just a wipe of a day has been a while, and it seems to be the day, and what a time to bring it to the competition. 17 kills in that game to only 4 from Code Magic Purple, and this now is, I don't know, is it all over already, Woody? I don't know.
Not quite yet, but very nearly. Yeah, I think that the most interesting fact with that stat line that you just saw was that Code Magic Purple and SK Gaming were very close on overall damage dealt to enemy brawlers, but SK Gaming had something like triple the number of kills, showing that they can reposition and play defensively when they need to, take a hit and keep on swinging, especially with those high hit point brawlers like Frank, playing to their advantage and not afraid to take a few hits on the chin when they need to do so. But going in now, the next game mode is going to be Siege, Arc.
Yeah, Siege Olive Branch, kind of more unusual, more kind of constricted Siege map, and we are going to see a slight difference in comp. Skyrex going to go with BB, which I like. It's very aggressive, has that additional speed to the advantage there, but I do like the double throw from Code Magic Purple. I think they might have the advantage here when it comes to comp. They can continue to outplay Skyrex on that lane side.
Deep dive there by Code Magic Purple along the right edge, doing their best to hold that position there. Akile finally getting healed up thanks to YDE's healing station there, and Cursed dropped into a corner, had no way to return fire against a double team move set up as a pincer to try to make the comeback happen on this Bolt score. It's a big lead for Code Magic Purple, looking very clearly to get this second spot, or I guess rather you call it the first one since the first was actually a tie. The Siege coming in short order is going to definitely be for Code Magic. So it's a defensive opportunity now for SK Gaming to try to hold on to these bolts and come back swinging for the last round.
Yeah, I've got to say, I really like a lot of the Code Magic plays there, blocking down those lanes that someone's doing so spectacularly well as Sprout. And now the question is, can SK Gaming defend this spot and defend it well? Because if they can, then they've already got 9 in the bag. I'm pretty sure they don't even have to bank a single bolt to secure the round, but they're going to want that level 10. And I think it's a pretty good defense, Woody. Only 30% damage is a really, really bad round for Code Magic Purple.
Yeah, that is going to be a lot less than Code Magic Purple expected. And with the fact that SK Gaming can commit all into the dive on this last siege, you got to expect that they can get at least 30% off that enemy save. Code Magic Purple in a really tricky spot now, doing their best to deny even more bolts, but that is going to be a monster of a siege bot coming on in for SK Gaming. And with even just a little piddling bit of support, they are almost guaranteed to be able to wipe this safe off the map. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, Skyx staying alive there. I thought he was in a bit of trouble on the left-hand side. He did stay alive. That's going to be so important here. The question is, though, with this amount of the distraction of the bot, is it going to... The time is ticking, and the bot is distracted, but why are they going in with damage here? It should just be enough!
Oh, it is enough! It passed that last line of defense. Jetton putting up a heroic last stand. Support from Sun Bentley dropping those blockers in and trying to keep that siege bot off as long as humanly possible. But ultimately, in the end, offense beats defense, and Jetton can't keep the siege bot off with damage piling in from YDE as well. The safe goes below that crucial 70% mark and gives SK Gaming a shot at match victory, a match point here and now with this 2-0 set lead over Code Magic Purple and looking to clinch it with an absolute sweep.
This is honestly a huge moment for SK Gaming, especially coming from the qualifiers that we just had 2 weeks ago, and SK Gaming not qualifying for next month. They needed to leave today on the maximum points possible, and now only one game of Siege potentially stands in the way of that. This is going to change the entirety of the EU leaderboards. From a victory here, everything will change from today onwards.
We are on the match point for potentially the last match today, so I want to thank all the viewers who are tuned in to watch these awesome players compete. Big shout out to Supercell and ESL for doing their best to keep this awesome production right on schedule, even during a pandemic. So huge thanks to all of them for having us back on. It's a great pleasure to be able to cast alongside such talented guys as you are, Falcone and Trid as well. So really ready for this last bit of action to get going. Remember, we've got another awesome day of the Brawl Stars Championship 2020 coming back at you tomorrow. So mark your calendars and get ready for some more explosive excitement. Follow Brawl Stars over on social media through Instagram and Twitter, and you can keep appraised of all the upcoming news and great things to come as we hop into what could be our last game of today with the match point opportunity for SK Gaming.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Woody. And now, do you know what I feel? I feel like I want a sweep had to happen. And then for you to repeat that in about an hour's time from now. But it does seem to be SK's day so far, but they have still got to get this match in the bag. And the first push is going to come from Code Magic Purple. Not too many bolts really banked, just, well, actually 3 for the next round could prove a difference, but it does look to be a pretty comfortable takedown so far for SK Gaming, but the control now is going to be very much dominated by Code Magic Purple.
Yeah, a siege bot early on here, but doesn't even get a single hit off against the Ike. You can say that was a successful defense for SK Gaming, and with the Bolt lead here, they've got to be happy about how that early stage went. A nice setup from Jetton with that healing station right there in the middle of the whole court in the center of this map. Going to get them another couple of bolts and try to keep head over SK Gaming, but with that first siege bot kind of whiffing, I'm wondering what they can do to get back in the action.
Well, this is a chance for SK Gaming to get a pretty good push. I mean, level 6, and if they can just maintain the control here, only 6 in the bag for Code Magic Purple from this round. As Skyrex with a double swipe there. A fantastic play, and a ball to double up on the money. You'll be over here with a bit of damage going in. My goodness me.
What an excellent play from Skyworks and taking the Ike all the way down to 28%. Code Magic Purple have been shaken and destroyed with that second siege. 15 seconds separate them from ultimate defeat as SK Gaming are doing their best to get that Bolt score back up. Jetton competing against YDE in the middle, but can't get that Bolt to spawn. YDE doing his best to hold on for dear life, just needs to defend a bit longer and grab a few more bolts. It's a tied score right now, 7-7, and that is going to be victory for SK Gaming. No siege means the advantage goes to the team already in the lead, and it would be an epic uphill climb from Code Magic Purple to make it back in at this point.
Yeah, as nothing is going to change the results today. SK Gaming have had a fantastic day. Smashing Tribe and smashing Code Magic Purple means that they will undoubtedly be celebrating over at the SK Gaming house as this is going to erupt the Europe leaderboard.
Certainly going to shake things up, and a parade of excitement for SK Gaming fans who might have been a bit worried about whether or not that position on the leaderboard was defensible. In third place and only 10 points ahead of Tribe, but with a massive win now here in the European region. They have finally found a breathing room that they've so desperately searched for, moving up and now challenging Clash for that number 2 spot in the region. It's going to be a great evening for SK Gaming. Time to break out the celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tribe out of this, though, is going to be said they can still, if the points sway in their favor, bring this out the bag. But let's head over now to Falcone to wrap up the day.
Well, I don't know if this was the result that anyone was expecting, but SK Gaming just demolished the competition today. For the final match, we are going to name Achille as our MVP. And yeah, there's a lot here to go through. In Gem Grab, he played beautifully as Tara. There was that game, and Ark talked about this, he conserved the super, forcing the other team to play around it, not even needing to use it. But just the threat of it being there was plenty. With Frank in Brawl Ball, he was able to brute force that Brawl into the goal, and then honestly hit super after super after super just to stop the enemy team completely in his tracks. And then finally, as Sprout in Siege, he did the thing the throwers have been doing. We've seen it from Barley, we see it a lot from Sprout, just closing every opening, preventing the other team from getting through any of the gaps, from getting anywhere near any of the bolts, and securing the victory, especially with Sprout's long range that can do a lot of damage itself to the Ike. But there you have it, our final results for this group. SK Gaming came out on top. They have not qualified next month, but they have gained so many points for the leaderboard today. They are really now in with a shot of getting to globals. Tribe are going to have to work particularly hard over the next 2 months if they want any chance of being the team that joined Code Magic Purple. But even better for SK today is the prize money. They're taking home $9,000, which is an amazing prize, extremely well deserved. These have been some real nail-biting games. They've mattered so much in the grand scheme of things for the whole year round. And yeah, we've definitely been rewarded with some juicy games. But here's the leaderboard now. SK Gaming sitting in third place. They are just behind Clash EU. Obviously, Clash EU were not here today, and SK are taking next month off, so their October monthly finals are going to be make or break for SK Gaming. We're going to be seeing Tribe again next month, so Tribe have got a chance, if they win there, to pick things up a little bit and close the gap. But the competition really is heating up in this region for the Brawl Stars monthly finals. Tomorrow, though, we move on to LATAM South and North America and LATAM North. We have Black Lions, we have INTZ, we have B4, Omen Elite, Cosmos, and Tempo Storm, all fighting for their spots for the global finals. Things are going to kick off tomorrow right here at 4 p.m. CEST. So make sure you're subscribed so that you never miss a Brawl Stars broadcast. But I just want to thank you one more time for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we've enjoyed putting it on for you. From the production team, from Woody, from Ark, from Trid, and from myself, we wish you an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow.